Me. Does it have like an addressee? Or an addresser, I suppose. I'm the addressee. I suppose I will just unwrap it. I suppose that answers my question about where it came from. Uh, yeah, I suppose I'll pack that and take it with me.
Uh, Dafer would likely check the evening before, but also again on the morning of our leaving, that he has the roughly 1 week of like usable cooking supplies to supply the party with like decent cooking ish, and like just general supply stuff, making sure everything is there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. And for starters, I would be slotting into my gauntlets. Like my gauntlets now spot this like stamping contraption near the like palm of the hand that just can um, shock it or like extrude very quickly to stamp itself into a surface. Um, I'd be equipping the. Hmm? Hmm? Kinda.
Pile driver metal
And
stamping.
the stamp I'd choose for now would be weaken structural integrity. Hmm.
I would like to check over with what I refer to as our sister team. Just sort of, last little goodbyes and wishing them good luck. Where are they going? Year one. Interesting. It's a lot more morbid. Well, no, I don't think I can weigh these. Hmm. Interesting.
Man, they really got it out with that team.
Yeah. Hmm. Okay. I wish. I. What is the name? Because I keep on thinking we're class 10. Class 2. Yeah, I wish class 2 good luck. That's it for her.
So one, I have some materials in my desk that I probably shouldn't leave in my desk, so I'm bringing that with me. Yeah, mostly my correspondences and side project. um, I have a really stupid question about how you want to rule how the magic rocks work. Um, yeah, the crystals. If I grab continual flame, cast it on an object, and then put the rock back on the shelf and get a different rock, do I still have continual flame on the object, or does that not work? Nope. Like the middle of a RuneScape town. Just campfires and I might continual flame like a dagger or some kind of rope dart situation, so that way we have a light source for the cave. And I'm still looking at the rest of the list, going, "Oh, but this one's good. Oh, but this one's good. Oh, but level 3 spells. Hmm."
I always would say, making my case to the jury, miasmic capture chamber. That was the thing I used for like ambient noise shutting itself off, timing itself perfectly. We can get more shell keywords, and we are like right around the corner from 5 and a proficiency up. I'm just saying. There's one more thing Ed here would like to do once everyone is finished.
I also, just to add on to that, I think the lab sounds great in theory, but like realistically, how many of us can use the facilities in the lab? Because we're not like
Uther and I can.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what kind of lab are we talking here?
it seems like something we need like someone else for. In my head.
Okay. I'd like to make my case for the medical facility. Okay. That one I wasn't sure on. I mean, workshop would be useful for me and Uther, but I don't have like I want a medical facility. That was pretty much it.
I don't think anything. I can sit and carve a rune into a piece of clay about anywhere. I don't know necessarily if I need. If I had like a big project I was working on along the way, then I would be more interested in a workshop.
Yeah, I think the workshop has some benefits over the capture chamber, but it's not. I'm not feeling strong enough on that one.
Yes. Seeing that Sky is taking a Revivify crystal, and Hero will rush back to the workshop, slotting the level 3 crystal back into the in bin, and sort of hurriedly run over to the necromancy selection and just sort of look about, hand up, uncertainty, just picks one at random and takes Summon Undead.
I'm currently amazed this school has a Summon Undead crystal.
It comes with certain stipulations that I'm sure are relayed to me.
Censored.
Everything will be fine.
And it's not.
And it's not, and I see why. That should have fixed it. People should be able to hear me now and not just see my mouth flap open and closed.
I
Yeah.
had the YouTube open earlier and I didn't say anything because I thought I had the YouTube muted.
Yeah, but it makes sense because you could hear me one way. It's just you couldn't hear me in stereo. But yeah, Sky looks over, doesn't say anything's too loud in there, but gives you like a nod and gestures with one hand towards the train, towards the carriages.
Give me a second. I'm currently trying to figure out what crystals I had picked.
As you anxiously
A
check your...
warding bond, that was.
Etira, you were saying something?
She shoulders her bag, looks to the others, and says, well, no time like the present. We have a journey ahead of us, and steps on board.
Stepping on board. It's mostly as you remember it. Some of the stuff has been reconfigured. The modular nature of the train carriages means that certain things have been slotted in while other things have been removed. The ladder access points to the ceiling and the enclosements above you are all the same. The area where you'll be bunking, there are like individual rooms essentially that have a very thin inserted wall between them, so it was a larger space, but they've just subdivided it to give each of you privacy. Sky also has her own room, but there's also a communal space that has been added. It's big enough to just barely fit the full group of you, as technically they're designed for teams of 4+1, so there's like an extra body from your group that needs to fit in there. There's seating in there that's quite comfortable, and it has a large reinforced window that looks outside, that has a view out one side, and then there's a hole all the way through that lets you have a view of the other side as well. So it sort of sections off the middle of the train in order for you to see out both ends at once. That is where Sky currently is, having squared away and put away everything of her personal effects, and she seems to be stood right now leaning against the window, sort of looking at the activity outside the train, waiting for things to get underway. But it's much quieter inside, with the doors closed. The sound is muffled by the metal and glass.
Right, you guys, everybody, all of you have your things fully packed, double checked.
Yeah.
Sure.
If not, it's too late now.
Caliban just looks at everybody with his big scarf.
Big glittery scarf.
God, that thing is ridiculous.
You think so?
I kind of side-eyed it, Hero.
What?
I think it looks kind of neat.
He looks like a silver light, like a cat. A cat that needs a
I think
shaving.
that's...
Hold on, this is
think
the
that's
look
the
this is
point.
the look that Caliban is giving you in response.
I think the entire bit that you can't tell what's scarf and what's hair is the point, no?
I like that it's just a window of expression. Like, just enough face to see the W smile lips, with just completely framed by hair and then covered up from the chin with just fabric.
There is going to be, without a joke, a painting of Caliban that is hung up in our dorm, and someone is going to say to someone else, I don't like this painting, its smug aura mocks me.
Oh, you should have met the guy.
After securing things away, you can either spend some time in your room if you want, or go join Sky in the communal room. But eventually, the train does lurch as the Crystalma engine goes in, and for the first time, you feel the Naiad's Dawn carry you forward into adventure. the train quickly dips underground, joining the general underground network that the other trains are a part of. But being an EK academy, being sort of part of the military, you guys have access to some priority lanes that the train quickly slots into and begins heading its way kind of across and up the city. A familiar, if muffled, voice comes out of some of the kind of like brass tubings with opening for sound to come out of. It's a bit nasally from the fact that it's carried through metal and echoed throughout the train, but you hear Dylan announce, "The Naiad's Dawn is underway. We'll be making a brief stop in I-1 to pick up a civilian who will be coming along with us, but after that we'll be non-stop to the Gold Bell outpost. Estimated time of arrival is 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. However, that might shift depending on our tests of the engines." And then you hear a muffled, "Was that good?" And then as the system cuts off and a valve is closed to stop the sound coming through. Those of
I
you...
didn't know we had guests.
Those of you who are with Sky, saying that out loud, Uther, if you're in the room, she'll turn to you and say, the school will offer for a more generous fee some transport for anyone heading to Gold Bell. Not common that people swap locations to an outpost like that. I'm surprised they found someone. Could be family of a member of staff.
Does Vesper have any family?
Sky shakes her head and says, parents, but they passed a few years ago. Three lights in the communal chamber flicker to life, a red, a green, and a yellow light, at which point the red and yellows dip out and a soft green light is just up in one corner of the room. Sky will gesture to it and just say, "Green light means everything's okay. Yellow is someone needs to come up to the front and information is to be passed about a potential concern. Red means grab your weapon and head to the roof. There's no time to explain. Hopefully we don't see a red light, but you'll probably see a few yellows. Trains that are swapping tracks or other things to look out for on the rail. You have to go up to the locomotive chamber. The sound tubes announced to the whole train. No point worrying everyone about every small detail."
So the sound tubes will let us know if there is a color change?
No, the lights will just change color. The sound tube is an announcement system for the whole train. If you think that if they were to warn us there could be Ravagers on the track, but it's not 100%, no point announcing that to the whole train. A yellow light, we go up to the locomotive and see what's going on. That's all it is.
Okay. Are there windows in the individual or partitioned rooms?
There are windows in the partitioned rooms, yes. So everyone has a window, everyone has a bed. It's much, 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 much more cramped than your accommodations in your little, like, university dorm style buildings. But it is enough space and it is private. So you've got a bed, you've got a shelf with your stuff packed away above the bed. There's no desk in there or anything like that. It's actually just a sleeping space and a place to sit, basically.
I am going to walk in, put up my stuff, unclip the vessel from my hip, and I am going to sit down with a book and give myself sitting so that I can both just look up from the book and see the outside through the window and be neatly comfortable there.
Sit down in your space. The view, as time passes, at first it's just flashes of light in the underground tunnel system. Occasionally you get glimpses of maintenance workers. working on the underground. Eventually, you come up into a train station that only a few of you have seen. Those of you who came from the north, so I think that's Clara and Adhira. It's a pretty grand station. It's bigger than the I2 one. There's technically an embassy and other things here, but a lot more trade comes through from the north, comes through from Trismere and from Laments, being a connection to the trade cities. So there's like a sort of grand bazaar feeling to it as the train comes up into the light. There is activity in every direction. It's much more colorful. It is Empress City putting on a performance to any visitor, any merchant, anyone from the north, from Trismere, showing off the wealth that flows through Empress City. You spend about 5 minutes sat in a train station somewhere. I don't know if anyone in particular is looking out for the civilian coming on board, but there would be someone who kind of hurries past with a couple of luggage cases, big floppy hat and like a sundress type thing, kind of hurrying onto the train from outside, getting into the civilian carriage and being the only person boarding the Naiad's Dawn here. I don't know if anyone would keep an eye on her in any particular manner, but
I'd be mostly bored. Dafer has pretty much just set up. I assume we're allowed to just have a set of cards on us, like just narratively hand wavy.
Yeah.
So other than that, and later looking for somebody to play something with, he'd not have much to do since he finished his quotation marks homework. So he'd be looking, just out of interest.
Yeah, give me a perception check.
Perception is this one.
One woman, quite a bit of luggage, you would say. There's some stuff that looks like personal effects, but then there is this case that she has that's wheeled, but it's not like a simple drag behind you case. It's like a big box case with 4 wheels and a central handle that's big enough to fit like a big Malamute style dog in it. Like it's pretty hefty looking in size. It's the perfect like rectangular dimension that she's pushing along. It doesn't seem to be too difficult for her to move despite its size. Maybe the fact that it's rolling along makes it a little easier to drag than it would be to lift it. But yeah, that's sort of what catches her eye as she brings it on board. She has a couple of people help her lift it into the civilian carriage. But yeah, that's about the most interesting thing you know as you're paying attention.
Okay, so it does require more than just one person, like to lift it easily into the carriage.
Yeah, because it's not level with the platform. There's a couple of steps, so she has a couple of people assist her lifting it. One of the platform staff and one of the onboard peacekeepers does help her lift it into place.
Okay. Noted. Curious. No, I would assume I didn't recognize her in any way from anything. So just a normal civilian then.
Yeah,
with just a huge briefcase, not briefcase, case.
Yeah, huge case, big old like floppy sun hat type thing. Definitely looks like she's dressed more for a holiday than anything else, but as far as you recall, this is a military base with a settlement attached to it, but still. Strikes you as a little odd.
Okay.
After she boards, it's not long until the train sets off again. You dip back underground, heading through the tunnels that connect Empress City to the outer miasmic waste expanse. You're underground for about 20 minutes or so, until you feel the train shift and switch tracks, and then come up and out into the miasmic wastes. Immediately on all sides, you see flecks of this aerosolized metal, the sort of dull grey nature of the environment around you as everything has been converted into the same material. It is all the same material that occurs whenever you slay a miasmic monster and it starts to flake away into this dust. It is kind of like being in a snow globe that's been kicked up. It rages against the windows. It is harsh and windy. There's nothing blocking the weather here, no buildings to break up the winds, and it is just a flurry of this material that is hazardous to the concept of life itself, just kind of swirling around the train as you exit the tunnels.
Adhere is going to slowly set down her book and just kind of press herself against a window to see out as far as she can.
Looking out, occasionally you see shadows, outlines, other trains going one direction or another. You're not sure how the train tracks here work, because there's quite a few in and out lines that obviously go from the north and east of Empress City. Sometimes it looks like the trains are in the distance, sometimes it looks closer. You only catch just shadows of them passing by, and sometimes it sort of jump scares you a little bit because all of a sudden there's the noise and the train of another one passing close by you. But it's mostly going the other direction that you notice these trains going by. You don't notice anything going the same direction as you as you're going along.
Going out.
Yeah.
Sam, question. So we've just established that outside of the city we have essentially this snowy miasmic monster particles everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Is that just the case for the Zemestian wastes, or is that the case everywhere on this globe? And I in Dulukop would be familiar with this.
It's only in the wastes that this is really a major problem. And obviously the wastes are ever expanding. And the fact that it's flickering around like this is mostly to do with like the environmental weather here. It's quite windy in this area of the wastes. In other areas where the weather is calmer, it would just be more like a grey particulate desert, basically. So where you've exited into just happens to be blustering with wind at present, which is kicking it up into a bit of a storm.
Mm-hmm.
And where you're from, particularly in Dulukop, no, you'd mostly deal with monsters from the wastes that have wandered. You're much further out than the edges of the wastes, really.
Okay. Oh, okay.
After about an hour, it starts to clear up a little as you exit this weather pattern, and a amber light flicks up in the waiting room. Sky quietly says, "One of you with me. I'll take a different person each time." And then she exits, waiting for one person to join her.
Who wants to go first?
Why not? I'll put a book down that I've been reading and just follow.
You walk forward with her, heading forward through the train. All the civilian stuff is behind you, so that's back from you, as well as the medical and captured carriages are further back. So you just walk through essentially what is the military carriage. So there are some peacekeepers on board that will be helping repel any invaders. You walk past their bunk rooms. There's 12 people in one carriage, so they've got a little bit less space than you guys do in your area. But there are emplaced weapons here. You can see that they're monitoring some of the train systems and stuff. They give a respectful nod. Some of them even bow to Sky as the two of you walk through the carriage and head into the locomotive. And it just gets progressively more cramped the further up the train you go, as there's about 6 or so engineers in the locomotive area, but there's so much extra machinery in here. People are like shoved into gaps where there are areas of machinery that need to be constantly looked after and maintained, people monitoring dials and other things like that. Dylan, who you can see is sweating profusely, trapped in this kind of small space, hands off a document to Sky, but she palms it off to you instead. Uther looks at you and says, "What does it say?" I don't know whether you want to read it out loud to them or whether you'd rather just like look through it and then surmise it, Uther. I'll tell you what's in front of you.
Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Oh, I see you're muted.
I'll take that calm minute. Meanwhile, in the cabin, Dafer would just get out his pack of cards and be like, "Okay, who wants to play a couple rounds Go Fish?" Wow, really? Nobody? I'm just looking around.
Fine.
Is everybody reading a book?
Pack of cards. Wait.
Adhira is reading a book, but she is in the main lobby. Fine, I'll bite.
Like
Yeah,
a
not
fish.
quite. Only after you ask and don't get anything. I assume have you played this before, or shall I explain the rules?
She gives him a soft look that explains that she has played this before.
Okay.
No fish in the desert, you know.
Okay.
It's it probably has a different name. There.
Go outline.
Infinitely more dangerous.
essentially-
Played with knives.
Find knives. Some call it Go Fish, others call it Find Knives.
Okay. So you guys start having a game of Go Fish. Back, Uther?
Yeah, sorry about that.
No worries.
There was a note passed.
Yeah, so there is a
Question mark?
document put in front of you. It has a print, like not a printout, but like a sketch diagram of the tracks. So from what you can tell looking at it, Uther, the tracks are bundled into sets of 5, and then on the outside line, like lanes on the left and the right are civilian lanes, and then in from that is military, and the middle is like rescue, support, and priority lane. So there's like this central lane that the Naiad's Dawn is on, this middle lane. And then on the lane 2, so not the outermost to the left, but the inner one from that, so just to your left, there is a report of a military train called the Incumbent that has stopped reporting in, but was on the same bundle of tracks as you, basically moving forward. It's just a notice to be aware that it could be faulty equipment on their train, could be that they've stopped to investigate something, but the Incumbent has stopped reporting in.
And it's on the same track we are.
It's technically one track to your left, but it's the same
Okay.
bundle. It's on the same bundle of 5. If you think the
Okay.
tracks are like arrayed in like these knots, basically these tied up sections.
So we're not gonna crash, but they're directly to the left of us, and if worst case scenario, they're fighting all the tracks.
Yes, so it's sort of a notice that they could be in conflict with something ahead of you, or it could be that they get in touch again within the next 20 minutes or something like that, but just basically just a warning that something could be wrong on the track to your left-hand side. That's what you're looking at, Uther.
Well, that doesn't seem good. Have they read this, or do I need to relay this?
You'd have to...
The people in this car.
The people in this car, the locomotive, they've all read it and compiled it for you guys, basically. So You can either take it with you back to the main carriage where everyone else is waiting, or just try and memorize what you want and head back.
I'm just going to fold it up and take it with me.
Okay. You and Sky make your way back through the Peacekeeper's carriage and back into the central area where a game of Go Fish is unfolding at present. But yeah, Uther.
I'm just going to slide the notice in between the two card players and say there might be a conflict on the tracks up ahead, or it could be a false alarm.
Kira sets down her cards, reaches over, picks it up. Sets it back down for Dafer to pick it up if he wishes. Hopefully it's a false alarm. What would the alternative be? Something has just taken out an entire train.
Sky
Something that would have...
Sky ponders for a second and just says, it's possible something could take out a train, yes. There are miasmic monsters that lay on the tracks and latch to the underside of locomotives, or are tall and can latch onto the top of a train. Military train, unlikely to be taken out by something like that, though. They're better armed, better equipped. If it was a civilian train, I'd expect that. No, it's either something has really gone wrong, or maybe it is just faulty equipment. Either way, it would be good if we have people keeping an eye out from the top deck. We can take it in shifts in order to keep a watch on the track to the left.
I'm not bothered by that. I can go sit up there.
She just looks at you, Clara, and says, if you want someone to take over, just knock on the roof. We'll be able to hear through the top.
Mm-hmm.
Question, Sam. In the area where, like, we're some way out from the city now. Are we still in an area with lots of winds, so our view is heavily obscured?
No, you've come out of the storm, but you're still in the wastes. It's a very it's quite duny, so it like goes up and down a lot. However, the trains clear out pretty good valleys in these dunes. So where the 5 tracks are lined up, you've got like a sort of like an embankment on either side, but from the top of the train you'd be able to see over both sides. It's just from where you guys are inside the carriage that it sort of blocks your line of sight. So Clara, heading up.
Yes, sir.
Give me your perception check from the top of the train. Heading up to the top, from here you have a much better view of the comings and goings of other trains. You can see quite clearly the bundle of 5 tracks spaced quite well apart, and you guys are in the middle lane with the like 4 tracks, 2 to either side of you. Those tracks are completely empty, but occasionally you see people on the return tracks, these trains going back the other direction. You do often see miasmic monsters, aerial ones, kind of moving as groups, and occasionally you see airships sort of either engaging in long-range sort of skirmishing fire with these clouds of shrikes and other things, or sometimes larger miasmic monsters being sort of brought down by what could be airships or like EKs doing aerial combat maneuvers, things like that. So there is a constant low level of conflict within your line of sight, Clara. Things that feel quite dangerous and quite grand on a scale that are sort of unfolding in front of you. But for the hour or 2 that you're up there taking a look around, Clara, nothing comes close to the train. Nothing is ahead of you on the track. Yeah, things seem to be somewhat quiet for your watch in terms of close to the train.
Fair enough. I suppose after like a couple of hours, I'll knock on the, I suppose, my floor, their roof.
Yeah, there is a thud from Clara up above. Sky looks at the group here and says, "Who wants to take over watch? Or I can if you prefer."
I can try. Not. I don't have the best set of eyes, but it should do.
Looking out for
We
anything?
were mostly just looking for a train.
Yeah, hopefully you won't miss a train.
Shouldn't be that bad. I was more worried about missing something and more in the distance that's rapidly approaching. But we'll see.
You head up the ladder, find Clara up in the kind of crawl space with the see-through top that lets you have a good view of everything around the train.
Mm-hmm. All right. Sounds uneventful. I'll be taking over you.
Well, I don't know whether that's the word I'd use. If anything, it's been constantly eventful, just nothing we have to worry about.
I look up and I assume for the first time really notice that constant fighting going on. That's a lot more eventful than I had thought it would be. This I'll have to get used to that.
She pats him on the shoulder. I'm sure you'll manage.
Give me a perception check,
Sure.
Dafer.
That was not nearly as interesting as random civilian boarding the train. Just no chance.
There are lots of things to look at, and it is an exercise in learning to prioritize what concerns you, Dafer, as you're looking around. There are things that draw your eye and are interesting, but aren't necessarily important in that sense, Dafer, as Clara described. It's pretty much the same thing. After about an hour of being up there, though, there is a thud, thud, thud that echoes through the train as the train has collided with something in front of it. You unable to see that, and in the communal area, the yellow light flicks on.
What the hell did we see?
Sky just says,
Whatever it was, there's more than one of them.
"Let's find out who's with me this time."
I'll go.
And she nods to you, Adhira. With a little bit more urgency in her step this time, she leads you through to the front of the train. Dafer, if you open up the thing down below, like to look down, Sky would look up at you and just say, "Keep an eye out for anything up there. We're heading to the front of the train. We'll see what that was."
Check. I'll run after you if I see anything.
She nods, and you can see that there is a crawl space that would let you get towards the front of the train if you needed to quickly as well. You wouldn't technically need to even leave the upper area, although it might be quicker to drop down and run. So, Adhira, you two arrive into the front locomotive. It's a big sealed door. I don't think I described before. She knocks twice on it, and it slides open before the door is opened up to allow you into the locomotive area. It's swelteringly hot in there, Adhira. It reminds you of, like,
Home.
yeah, it reminds you of home, but like the worst part of the day at home, not like the comfortable cavern or like the later day heat. It's the like the sun is above you sweltering part of home. Heading inside, one of the engineers just says, "Quite a few miasmic on the track ahead of us. Not sure why they are going so slow or why they didn't get out of the way of the train. Normally they'll split." Sky will nod and just say, "Probably injured. Could be from fighting with the military train up ahead. We might be getting closer." She looks at you, Adhira, and just says, "We've got two choices. We can try and speed the train up, catch up with what's going down, or slow us down and be more cautious. Which would you do?"
I think we should be cautious.
nods and says, "The train is untested. Could cause us more problems than not going faster. In this case, it's just a few miasmic. I think we can pick up the pace a little bit, but it's a good thought." And she'll tell the engineers to basically put the spirit engine through its paces, see if we can't catch up with what's going on. She'll start walking back with you, Atira, and just say, "I understand your reservations.
Well, we'll see if they are unfounded or not.
If things go wrong, you can say I told you so." There's a couple more thunks that echo through the train as she says that, and she sort of like grimaces a little, like odds are growing. She heads back to the communal area and just says, "I think there are injured miasmic. They're unable to get out of the way of the train in time. I think we're getting close to the military train or something up ahead. Make sure all your gear's in order." There technically is like a slanted scoop at the front of the train, Uther. It's just that still when you impact into something, it's it'll make a noise.
With my reinvigorated focus, as the situation has now shifted, does anything stick out to me from up top?
Yeah.
Do I see it? No, notice anything different?
Give me another perception check. You start to see more miasmic on the tracks, but they're running alongside the train being much faster than them. You very quickly get past them. You see a few of them split out the way, and for some time they give chase to the train, but always peel off into the distance. The longer the train's going, the faster the train's getting, the more miasmic you begin to see, until eventually, Dafer, ahead of you, you can see a crowd of maybe 200-300 Ravagers running after something on the tracks to the left-hand side of you, like a proper, like, horde of miasmic seems to be in chase of something. Your train's going faster than them, so it's going to pass by that. But yeah, there's something up ahead that the miasmic are after, you would say, Dafer.
Okay. Question. If we were to trigger our Marquee field, would this be... Is the area of it big enough that it would affect some of the miasmic on the neighboring train track?
No, so the field itself is for stuff that's like on the surface of the train. It's like it covers the surface of all the outer carriages and things like that and forces them away. So it will disintegrate smaller miasmic in contact, and larger ones will be repulsed and pushed off, basically. But no, it doesn't.
Okay.
It's not like a nova of energy, basically. It's more like a...
It's not a bubble around the train. It is literally the surface of the train.
Yeah, perfect. That's it.
In that case, I like knock down. I have this contraption I can open to speak through.
Yes.
And inform everyone that we have a horde numbered in the hundreds on our neighboring train track, chasing something on the train track, which could be the incumbent. And given they are chasing it, chances are the incumbent is still running, but maybe slow enough for them to catch up or something.
Sky will nod. At this point, she'll look to everyone and say, "Up onto the top of the train. Let's see what we can see together."
Woo!
Give me 1 second.
Alrighty.
Ooh, I've lost a track somewhere. heading up on top of the train. Can everyone give me a perception check?
Yes.
Oh wait, there was a performance check. No, wait.
Oh, good.
There we go.
Clara and Caliban, you can see sparks, not from the military train track, but one over the civilian track. There is a small train. Clara, from your point of view, it looks like it's both accelerating and it has the brakes on full power, basically. So there are like screeching sparks coming up from the locomotive. There is this tall, four-legged miasmic. It's latched onto the top of the locomotive, maybe like 15-foot-long legs that are wrapped around the locomotive in a hug, and it has its face pressed against the front of the train. You can see there are Ravagers latched onto the outside section of the train, and there is occasional gunfire as Ravagers are pushed off from the outside of the train. It looks like Miasmic are attacking this small passenger train as far as you can see Clara and Caliban up ahead.
Well, that looks like a sign that something's going wrong.
Let's deal with it.
Sky will look over. She'll say, something's slowing the train down. She'll think for a moment and say, we can't have our train pull up alongside it. There's still the warning about maybe something on the inner track. We'll have to jump across and work from there. Our priority should be making sure anyone on board is safe, getting the train back up to speed if possible, and if not, we need to work on getting them across onto our train as quickly as possible.
So basically, we're jumping between moving trains, back and forth. We can't stop because then the miasmic can congregate.
What will happen is the Naiad Storm will pass by this train, you guys will jump across, and then the Dawn will continue on forward and switch back. At a certain point, if this train doesn't speed up again, the Dawn will pull back in, and you'll be able to offload civilians, and at that point you'll all have to jump across. Basically, you've got one shot to go over, and try and fix the train or get people off, basically.
Let me check my armor. Oh no, I don't have the next keyword for glide. Damn.
Scar will say, we need to split into two groups of focus. One for the locomotive to get that working again, and one to protect the civilian in the carriages at the back.
Who do we think is best for each role?
Does anyone know anything about fixing trains?
I would actually argue Dafer and Uther have the best chance for the locomotive, because Uther has, as far as I'm aware, the most train knowledge, even if it's about the Naiad's Dawn, maybe some of it transfers.
I would say so. I think Uther did read the Naiad's Dawn documentation in its entirety as well, so will help a little bit.
And Dafer has some mechanical understanding, if nothing else. Maybe the more in-depth rune knowledge helps here.
Okay, so Dafer and Uther are heading for the front of the train.
Makes sense.
Sounds good to me.
Uther?
Anyone in particular want the back of the train?
I'll take the back.
Okay. Or is it everyone else at the back?
Yeah, is there anything... I was under the impression that if we weren't in the front, we were going to be in the back.
That's fine, I just wanted to double check. Just in case someone wanted to go and support the two of them or something like that. That's fine. Sky will say, I'll aim for the middle. That way I can support whoever needs it most. let's go. I will swap us over to the map.
Oh boy, here we go. Oh god, that's a lot of terrain. What in the shit is that naked mole rat looking fucker?
That is a miasmic monster attached to the front of the locomotive.
Before we jump over, I would cast Warding Bond on Uther.
Yep.
Uther, you have +1 AC and +1 to your saving throws.
+1 AC, +1 saving throw.
It's a long ass train.
Luckily,
I don't know how to tell you it's
cover
about
on the short
trains.
Oh Jesus, that's long. Okay, that's a long ass map.
Each person in you.
Anyone else want to do it while we're here?
I can make it longer.
That's a long
The rest
train.
of that is like the track.
Yes, there's more track than train. I'll promise you.
Like George Lucas pulling up in the longest car you've ever seen.
I hear it's still
What?
going.
Yeah, that didn't make it drop a second.
I'm just getting initiative sorted from my side. If people want to drop themselves to the right-hand side of the carriage they jump onto, because you can pick any carriage you particularly want, so go ahead and place yourself down and then give yourself an initiative roll. Darkness Force.
But besides Uther, who else was it that said they were going to the front?
Dayfair.
Dave and Uther.
No, I
No,
would have
And
to-
Squad.
like keep in mind, Uther essentially has resistance to all damage, since my hit bar will tank that for him. So like HP wise, we'll be fine up front, pretty much.
Like-
So everyone, keep in mind, all of you have 6 HP and +5 to your max HP.
We
Wait,
all
we
have
have what
6.
now?
Yeah, what?
6 temp HP, do you mean?
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
My food feature, which I had ample time to feed you all at one point, gets maxed out when we're in the academy.
Yeah.
So
The
that's
food
why you all have
feature.
6 temp HP. And I also got to cast 8 once per short rest. So like, I also prepped us all with 8. So
Okay.
you all have +5 max HP and +6 temp HP.
I guess I'll place.
Wow,
myself-
27 hit points.
Where should I place myself? I guess I'll place myself
Initiative.
right here. Yeah, sure, that works.
I know what that looks like. It's more just because like then we have people on both sides.
No.
Clara defies gravity to flash step to the other side.
It wouldn't be
She
impossible.
also hates him, but that's a different method.
She's just playing hard to get.
Yeah,
Clara just
and by
is
hard to
singing
get, I
defying
mean-
gravity as she jumps over.
Fucking try it.
It's simple magnetism. She is repulsed by him.
Sociomagnetism or psychomagnetism, the new concept.
Hey,
Harness
hey,
magical powers.
look, just like two positive, are not attracted to two positive. Well, a positive isn't attracted to a positive, a negative is not attracted to a negative.
Nobles can't date. That's the rule.
Perfect. Thank God.
Shit's looking good for me. I can only move up.
Speaking of moving up,
I think.
we roll for initiative.
Yes, yeah. If you haven't rolled for initiative, go ahead and do so. We've got a long line of things to go through, so I'll be.
This is a long fucking initiative order.
It's almost as long as the train.
Is the train
Oh,
long?
well, as long as the
no,
track.
I don't
denied.
think anyone told me that the train was long.
Shut the fuck up.
Guys, did you notice the train? It's a train. Trains are cool.
I like
3
trains.
cars long.
So, Uther,
How did my
as
ethnic-
As the Naiad Storm rockets forward, using its engine, it switches into the track to the left, bringing you close enough to make the leap across. You can see this huge, as you said, naked mole rat looking thing with long, slender limbs that has wrapped its arms around the front and back of the locomotive. From its mouth is a long proboscis tendril type thing that has split apart into multiple of them, but is slipped down through an opening in the front of the locomotive and seems to have penetrated inside of the train and is attached to something on the inside, but you can't see yet as you're still outside the train jumping across. What do you want to do? It's your turn.
Well, it sounds to me like cutting its tongue would be hilarious.
Could be a good move.
What do we think?
I think you'd really piss
you
it
do
off,
what-
but I think it's still a good idea.
You do what you must. My goal is to keep everyone alive. I'm not having any plans beyond that.
So yeah, can I run up and give it a slice?
Yeah, go ahead. Attacking the tongue that is proboscising into the train. Go ahead and give me an attack roll.
Yeah. Sword. I get advantage on this roll. Sneak attack is enabled. One second. I need to check something. Yeah, I'm gonna burn a first level spell while I do this.
Yeah.
And I'm going to cast Searing Smite.
As your big heavy blade ignites into flame, you come up on the unsuspecting miasmic that seems to be doing something inside the train with its proboscis and swing at the tongue. Go ahead and make an attack roll. 12 doesn't quite break AC as you impact the creature, but you don't manage to sever the tongue. So go ahead and deal damage.
Okay.
You do hit the creature, you just don't manage to sever the tongue. So you like go to swing at it, but it turns its head to one side, its tongue kind of moving away from the swing. As you impact into it, it does take still a big whack of damage, but remains connected to whatever is inside there.
Gotcha.
Anything else, Uther?
No, that's action, bonus action. Probably don't want to move, so I'm gonna just hang out here.
Adhira. Jumping across the train, you can see that this carriage is filled with Ravagers that seem to have killed a fair number of the guard on board. There is one guard still in here, as well as some civilians that are trying to move to the next carriage along.
I would like to break through the glass
Yep, you come smashing through the side of the glass there.
and surrounded on all sides. I'm immediately going to channel a spirit point and burst. As
Yeah.
my shell discards itself and the arms swing out. In order to
Dexterity
ask-
save.
Yes.
Is it half damage on save or no damage on save?
Let me take a look. Oh, I have to actually go to the page for it never included it.
No worries. I think it's half, but I just want to double check.
No, it's all or nothing.
Okay, so the two, like, the one to the north of you takes no damage, as it is protected from you by, like, the train upholstery, the chairs and stuff, just sort of take the brunt of the explosion. The other two are hurt by the attack.
And I'm going to rush down my scythe low, scraping against the wood before swinging it up into this miasmic creature. This will have acid on it.
15 does hit.
Ready?
12 damage brings it very low, Atira, as the scythe pierces in. Acid, just dissolves up through one side of the creature, but it is still fighting as it gnashes its teeth at you, Atira.
And I'm going to use my momentum, sort of kick back off the ruined upholstery and move over here.
Do you have mobile or something that prevents
I
attacks
do.
of opportunity? Yeah, cool. Just double checking. You managed to, swing through, smash through, basically using the explosion of your shell to help aid in getting in, get the strike off and move away. That you, Atira?
That is.
This Ravager up here on the right-hand side of the train is going to attempt to chew through the outside as it is still trying to get into the train itself. 15 does break AC. And 5 piercing damage. It breaks through, having finally chewed through the metal, but that will be its turn. Next Ravager, same story, trying to chew through. This one hits as well. And does manage to break through as 2 Ravagers make it into the train to your north there. Further up, there is an array of 3 Peacekeepers trying to keep a Ceratosaurus from the locomotive. First of all, they will fire. 22 does hit. 6 piercing damage, just glances across the armored front of the Ceratosaurus. It takes half damage as it is incredibly resilient to gunfire. Caliban.
Let's see. So are these things, they're on top of the train with us?
No, so the Ravagers, those 3 at the back, 4 in there, are actually inside the carriage right now. They've made it onto the train, as that's the slower back-end moving portion of it.
And these things off to the side?
They're flying around above the train.
Well, I'll, do you think I might be able to move back over here and maybe, take a stab at the thing outside of the train, but inside?
So, through the roof into it?
Maybe, through the window.
I would say the attack's at disadvantage, but you could do it, yeah, because of the distance and going through an object.
I'll make the attack disadvantage, but we'll see.
Go for it. 9 misses, unfortunately, as you do break the window, but that gives the creature enough warning to sort of bound out of the way, Caliban.
Damn. Alright.
Anything else on your turn?
Bonus action, changing my weapon to its ballistic form.
Okay, changing it into gun mode.
Yes.
Seems to have moved on to. The Ravager that you just stabbed at is going to clamber out onto the side of the train and try and chew on you, Caliban.
Alright.
7 misses, however, as you do manage to deflect the attack with your blade. At this point, you can see in the background the horde of miasmic that Dafer spotted as you were approaching, getting closer to the train as the brakes are just still held down. The train is backsliding towards this oncoming horde of Ravagers that are trying to get at the train carriage. The one that you attacked, Atira, is going to run up after you and try and bite you.
Oof.
Did roll a natural 20, so that is 8 points of damage, Atira.
That will first go through, so I lose 3 points. That goes through to temp HP, so I'm at 30 HP.
How much was the temp HP again?
I think it was
6
temp
temp
HP,
HP.
so only 2 damage goes through, Atira.
Oh, yes.
That only scratches through your added max HP.
And over to you, Dave, at the front of the train.
Given that this is, I believe, the first time we do a jump from high-speed vehicle to another high-speed vehicle, and I'm not the kind of person that just did that a ton before, it will mostly look like Dafer just sprinting at the top of his speed and then very unelegantly just essentially body first, like, oh!
There is a heavy thud that reverberates through the train that people in the back inside the carriages can hear as Dafer impacts onto the top of the locomotive.
Uther and I are inside or on the top of the locomotive?
So at present you're both
I'm on top.
On top of the locomotive, yeah. So the locomotive's a bit more sealed off than the carriage is. If you wanted to get in there, you'd have to go through the door at the back or through one of the holes in the front that this thing has made.
Okay. In that case, I see Uther has started to piss this thing off, which does not look healthy for him. So Dafer is going to run up and then with a very measured jump try to like wheelhouse kick from up top onto the thing's head.
Yeah.
Reckless attack essentially. Mean attack. That is with overload, as I would have done that on my bonus attack. That is with lightning boots.
Yeah, swinging
That's
down
lightning
again.
damage. So that's 23.
23 hits for 10, and it is staggered by lightning. Giving a teamwork point to Uther, I suppose. It's the only one that makes sense to me at present, but...
Actually, my impact would have been so loud, I've got to argue, that it distracts the Ravagers and manages to give Clara a teamwork point.
Okay, handing a teamwork point over to Clara. I'll allow it for the echoing sound through it. Yep.
See, me being clumsy actually is part of my professionalism.
Uther, is that because this thing's on fire, yeah? From the searing?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yep, he's burning.
Alright, Dave, for a teamwork point goes to Clara. Anything else on your turn?
Bonus action would have been to trigger my overload, and action was to attack. My movement, I think, was just getting on here, so that's my turn.
Okay. One of the shrikes near Caliban is going to swoop down and make a grapple check against you.
Let's see.
Only a 6, as it's just a straight roll, but you do need to roll athletics or acrobatics in contention.
Alrighty.
It attempts to grab you and try and pull you off of the train or lift you up, but instead just kind of sweeps by, unable to get hold of you. Another one of the Empress soldiers in the front carriage is going to try and take a shot at this thing. At the Soritosaurus. 9 doesn't break AC, deflects off of it. This strike is going to attach onto the back of the train here, and then the Ravager in the middle of this back carriage is going to run at the Empress Peacekeeper and try and take an attack against him. 13 versus AC doesn't break the Peacekeeper's AC, so it manages to hold off against it. There is another Shrike somewhere. I need to take. This one is going to move this way and is going to land on top of the train here. I rolled really well. I rolled better than everyone in the party, huh? Another shot against the Soritosaurus as a volley of gunfire goes off against it. This time hitting, another 3 damage to it. And then there is the one guy that was cornered by the Ravager down here. He's going to try and use a bayonet to keep it at bay. 11 unfortunately doesn't break AC. Another strike. Gonna move here. This person for some reason is outside of the train. I'm just gonna shift in inside. Adhera, this Ravager is gonna move down and attack you.
Okay.
18.
Damn, hits.
Does hit for 3 damage. It's managed to take another chomp out of your shell barrier. Another Ravager trying to break through into the train up here, and I think that'll be what the next one does as well, so I'll roll them both at once. 11 and 11 both fail to get into the train. It is the turn of the large thing attached to the front of the train. Its proboscis splits. Is it at the start of its turn it does the con save, Uther?
At the start of each of its turns until the spell ends, must make a con save. On a failed save, it takes 1d6 fire damage.
Failed save, go ahead and roll the d6 fire damage.
Okay.
Takes 1 point of fire damage. Its proboscis splits off and lunges towards you. 13 versus AC, Uther?
Who is it attacking?
Uther at disadvantage,
Me,
so
11.
11, yeah.
Yep. And 11 won't make it.
And then it is going to use its hook claws to dig into the train carriage further. 7 and 14 both miss. 15 is the AC of the train in a general sense, just so people know. This front strike is going to land here and let out a shrill screech. I need wisdom saving throws from Dafer and Uther.
That's not gonna end well at all. We are screwed. Wisdom saving throw.
Dafer, you make the save.
What?
Uther, you make the save by 1. The DC is 13, as you are both not discombobulated by the shrill screech of the creature. Clara.
Oh boy.
Lots going on.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to break this window, I think.
Yeah, it should be easy enough for you to swing through. I don't think that'll be a problem.
Lovely. Right, let's see if I can dismantle this thing that's attacking all the civilians. Do the Empress soldiers, I assume yes, count as allies?
Yes, they do.
Yes, brilliant, okay. So I need to leave that ticked on. 15.
15 just hits. That is its AC.
Lovely. It takes 12.
12 damage, bloodied but still standing as the first impact goes through it.
Great. I don't like that didn't kill it. I'm gonna duck back around the corner.
Hiding back behind, taking some cover. Anything else, Clara? Are you good there?
Yeah, I think I'm good here.
Okay.
Using your teamwork point?
Holding
I
it now
don't
for
know.
now.
I don't think there's anyone that can get in on that teamwork point. That's the problem.
Yeah, true. There's
Like
no
Caliban's a little bit too far away. Adhera can't get all the way down there.
Okay.
He's got a gun, though. He can shoot.
Yeah, but he's on top of the train still, I think.
Oh. Gotcha.
The Ceratosaurus is going to advance on the guard protecting the locomotive here. 2 attacks do go through. 10 damage and 13 damage. Wounds one of them does kill another of the peacekeepers that are protecting the locomotive as its big manted claws just slice through any armor in its way. But that is its turn. Let's stop here.
You can't just say that about our teacher. Fuck me.
This strike is going to... it's going to dart into the gap here, and a couple of civilians are going to need to make wisdom saving throws as it will screech at them.
Oh.
That is failed. Both of them are stunned, unable to act, and any attacks against them at advantage. All of the bad stuff.
Can't believe your heads just did that.
Sky will break through into this chamber, see the Ceratosaurus attacking the Peacekeepers, and then is going to move this way and swap her weapon into ranged chain axe form and make 3 attacks. 23, 20, and 27 all hit. Just gonna deal the damage, as force damage doesn't do anything other than that, but that is a good 40 points of damage going through. Impacting in the unprotected rear end of the Ceratosaurus, particularly effective until it turns around to face her. But that is Sky's turn. Uther.
Oh, sorry, I was typing. The Searing Smite's only good for the first whack, isn't it?
The damage from the first attack, yeah, but it is still on fire, right? I think is the...
Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I didn't get that extra D6 every go. Dafer, little bit of meta knowledge. This little guy here is like way down in the turtle.
Hmm?
Like this one is slow. So if you wanted to, we can still target this guy and not have to worry about him till towards the bottom. So I can strike him.
The main thing I'm talking about is I can't do that. I can do my stuff, but that means I'm not attacking the upper one, which means it does not get disadvantage against you.
Understandable. My issue is I get 1 attack a turn, so I gotta be particular.
Yeah, I'm just informing you. That's your livelihood.
Let's see here. Cunning action, aim. Well, yeah, no, I want to do that anyway. I want the advantage.
17 hits, and you can attack the proboscis if you wish here.
No, I'm attacking the thing.
Oh, you're attacking the... Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, that absolutely hits. That's more than enough damage, as it is a small little annoying bug creature that you kind of slice into with a single strike there.
Yeah. That was action, bonus action, and a touch of movement. What was that?
There has a ranged option, right?
I have some throwing thingies, and I have a gun that I never returned.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, Uther. You've moved, you use your bonus action to aim, your action to attack, but you've still got the rest of your movement left. It's up to you how you want to use it.
Yeah, I'll make day for a shield for a moment, and that'll be me.
Okay, Adhera down the bottom of the train.
I am going to push back against the one to my right with Comson.
Yeah. 6 misses. Big scythe, small enclosed environment. Some difficulty swinging it at present, Adhera, as it like slices through another sofa.
I am going to use a spirit point and swing out with flurry of blows. So big skeletal hand comes around with a scimitar.
That will hit.
This will have acid on it.
Yeah. That does kill off the Ravager to your right that was weakened from your first strike.
1, 2. I'm going to dance around to this one, swing at it. miss.
8 will miss, yeah.
And I'm going to move. Do. Check range. I'll move here. And I'm assume Clara can, I can duck down low so Clara can aim over me.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. We can shoot through allies without problems, that's fine.
Okay, cool. That will be her turn.
It is the turn of a Ravager loose in a civilian environment, so it's going to run to the nearest one and attempt to bite. Uh, 14 will hit, and for 6 damage, that is enough to finish off the civilian, which does put it into rampage as it has killed something. The blood kind of comes coursing over the surface of the shell of the miasmic monster. It does seem to be nastier and stronger than the other Ravagers around it. Same story in the north. 18 hits, and another one falls, putting a second Ravager into rampage as the miasmic attack continues. Where is this Peacekeeper? I think it might be one of the 4 ones. Unfortunately, it is. Remove that. Caliban, on top of the train, fighting with a Ravager. Shrikes kind of swarming around you. Your gun is certainly currently configured for ranged attacks, but you do have an enemy within 5 feet. What would you like to do?
Well, I have my other knife, so I am able to just stab it if I want.
18 hits.
Oh, that only does
1 damage, unfortunately. Or technically that's an offhand attack, so it would... If you're using that as your action attack, then it would have your modifier on it as well. But I don't know whether you wanted to do something else with your action, or another attack, sorry.
I guess I can disengage and just, put some space.
Yep.
Wow. Okay, 1... Oh, wait, let me just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So basically anything from here, all possible targets.
Yeah, if you swing down and through, yeah, because right now you're still on top of the train, yeah.
I think... No, I was considering an action surge, but I'm gonna hold off on that.
Okay, holding off the action surge. This Ravager, probably just gonna run along the top of the roof towards you, Caliban, following afterwards, and will attack. 6, however, does not break your AC. The tongue is still connected, yeah, give me 1 second. The train continues to slow down. A few Ravagers are starting to nip at the heels of the train. Next round, it's possible that more miasmic might start joining the train from the back end carriage. Dafer. Might be muted, I say.
ISO?
ISO? Still muted?
ISOs.
I saw
Oh no.
the connection exclamation mark there, I think, like a yellow one. I don't think I've ever seen that one.
Oh.
Give me 1 second. Let's see if we can.
No, wait, what connection? What's going on?
Nah, you're
Oh, there you are.
you're back, ISO. It's your turn.
You were in the void.
It would be... Actually, he's just gonna try to grab one of the arms with like the claws, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually try to put it in an angle that breaks it. Basically a actually, like, kick it in a way so that it breaks. Again, lightning, reckless.
Yeah, okay, so you're kicking it, its leg, trying to loosen its grip on the locomotive. Go ahead and give me an attack recklessly.
Main attack, that is with overload, that is lightning boots. 19?
19 does hit. Go ahead and deal damage.
Well, 5.
Yeah, 5.
And I assume this also stuns it?
Yeah, staggers it so you can pass a teamwork point.
Teamwork point goes to Uther.
Yeah.
Ready?
As I assume I can't just take the teamwork point and immediately trigger it.
No, I'm afraid not.
Okay, passing that one on to Uther, so Uther now has teamwork point, and
kind of want to use it for you, so we can just do an infinite loop here.
And that runically tags the enemy up there, so it's now
disadvantage if it doesn't
puts
attack
me
you.
into focus.
Yeah.
And that I do actually no, I have my offhand attack.
Yep.
Which I can still do.
Still got bonus action?
And as I did my first one recklessly, this one is also at advantage.
It is.
So this is my gauntlets now. And I'm gonna have the normal gauntlet attack.
Unfortunately, that doesn't make it through. It does not hit, I don't think. Let me just double check. Yeah, no.
It misses, yeah?
No, it misses.
Okay. That's my turn.
Okay. We've got a Shrike somewhere on this train. Where is it? Over here. It is going to... It is going to fly down to where the wheels are housed under here and start chewing on some of the wheel stuff. Just nibbling, essentially, as the train carriage rocks slightly to the right-hand side. It is biting at the infrastructure. Further north, Empress Peacekeeper. It's diagonal of the target, so still can take the shot. Will fire at the Ceratosaurus. 5, however, misses. There is a Shrike somewhere. Where are you, buddy? Is it at the front?
Usual guys. Gotta get rid of some.
I've lost him. He's disappeared. Oh, he's right at the back here. It is going to break in through the back and start climbing along the ceiling here, moving its way up the carriage. This Ravager will attack the Peacekeeper that it is next to back here. 11 misses, doesn't break through the AC, managing to hold the line. This Shrike, however, is going to land between the two back here and let out a screech, which means the Peacekeeper and the Civilian need to give us a Wisdom saving throw. The Civilian makes the save, and the Peacekeeper also makes the save as they both stave off the stunning effect. Back up with the Ceratosaurus, trying to fend it off. This guy's on 1 health at present. Fails to pierce through the armor, unable to properly fight back at present. I think I may
back with the civilians.
Back down with the civilians and this Peacekeeper that just managed to stave off the stunning shriek. I think it's still going to try and stab the very bitey Ravager. It does so. Perhaps the best soldier in the army as he deals 5 points of damage. Couldn't take another hit like that. This Shrike is going to break through the window and crawl into the carriage above the civilians. Ravager is going to run up between Clara and Atira I'm just gonna roll a d2, 1 for Atira, 2 for Clara. Clara, it is you who is being bitten by the random winds of fortune. 20 versus AC, Clara.
No.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
6 points of damage goes through.
Rogue
Oh, actually,
bullshit.
that's my 10th health.
Yeah, it does just about break 10 HP. Got 2 Ravagers trying to break through the outside of the train. Oh, I rolled the wrong thing, but 6 is still definitely not going to be enough. And 7, as that side of the train still holding firm against the Ravagers. Big, tall, pale, creepy-looking thing. Realizing the attacking Uther is difficult with this weird metallic person around, is going to
You owe
make
me
it
a con save.
I do owe you a con save as well. Let me do that first. 18?
I don't think you're seeing like,
Does
no,
that-
my DC is like 12.
Is it ending the effect, or does it just not take damage this turn?
It ends the effect.
Yep, spell ends.
Okay, so as the train is hurtling on, the flames that had covered the surface of the creature sort of blown out by the passing wind, even with the slower movement, still moving fairly fast. It will attempt to proboscis Dafer. Natural 20 Dafer.
While that is a crit, Sam, I have to inform you that I am fortified.
Okay, so you're immune to crits, you take 9 damage, I need a constitution saving throw.
I'll reduce that to 4 first,
Yep.
as I am resistant to bullshit. And con save, you say?
Yes, please. DC is 12.
Oh.
You do make the save. The proboscis latches into your neck Dafer, and begins to pump a poisonous substance into your system. With your shell and your conditioning, you're able to stave off the effects of the poison. But yeah, there's like black marks that start to grow up the veins on the right-hand side of Dafer's neck. And the proboscis has remained attached to Dafer at present. Clara.
There's a creature that has stood right next to me. I hope the world's best soldier will be able to save the civilians, because I think I need to deal with this.
Yeah, go for it.
I think I need to spend my bonus action to steady aim, because I don't have any melee weapons.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to cancel out my own disadvantage here. 20.
hits.
And it's put itself between me and Atira. Good job, dude. Take the extra damage.
That is enough, as you do drop this Ravager with your attack, managing to take aim and bring it down.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can't move because I've steady aim, so that has to be my turn.
Okay. The Ceratosaurus in the north here is going to turn around and is going to attack Sky. 26 does break AC. She takes 11 points of damage, which reflects sort of off of her shell barrier, as she is able to take that with ease. There is a shrine somewhere. This one. It is going to attempt to pick up one of these civilians. 18, it does succeed as it picks up the civilian and is going to start flying off in this direction with them moving at half speed, so it is here at present.
Is oh fuck. I don't know if there's anything we can do for
It is Sky's.
I have a gun.
You can shoot
Yeah,
in, but it'll
that's
it'll drop her. That's the.
How far off the ground is she?
Technically as level as she would have been on the carriage, so not that far off the ground is honestly.
Look,
Getting her
okay,
back on the train.
I don't know what they're planning to do, but death by falling is probably a preferable option to whatever they're gonna do.
But yeah, so the stun does end at the end of the Shrike's turn as well. It is Sky's turn. She is going to... First, she's going to make an attack with her normal axe form, swapping it back as a bonus action. 28 hits. That is 11 damage. Let me just double check the sources. I remember. She will then take a step away, taking an attack of opportunity. 25 does hit for another 11. And then we've got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 foot movement to here. Action surge, and she has remarkable speed, so she can standing jump her speed. She will jump up through the top of the carriage over to here, 30 feet. She's going to move over to the side here, make an attack against this Ravager. Uh, 28 hits for 15 and a follow-up attack. 17 hits for another 14, does kill this Ravager on the side and gives her a view of what is going on across the train at present. Uther.
Now then, first level spells are what frequency again?
Short rest.
Short rest?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. Wanted to make sure. I'm gonna have to move up and one second. Can't do that because I've had to move, so I can just win.
I mean, do you want to combo attack it, maybe?
Or
to cleave off the proboscis?
I mean, yeah, but so the teamwork point had to be used after an attack, or am I just stupid on that?
I mean, we can just do a double attack with it.
Yeah, when you make an attack, you can choose to use a teamwork point to call in an ally to also make an attack at the same time.
Yeah, I want to do that.
Okay, all right. The two of you attack it in unison.
I think the way I would narrate it is, I mean, it has its proboscis latched into me, essentially, which is a fatal flaw because now it is very easy to target when pulled taut. So that's what I would like to do, essentially pull it taut, try to rip it out, essentially, and at the same time, Uther just tries to cleave it through.
Okay, go for it. Natural 20 certainly hits.
Okay, 1 second. I get to hit a button.
Disadvantage on all attack rolls. Very nice. 17 also hits, so that's 10 lightning damage. And then...
Now to the fuckery that is a rogue.
So that is another 19 plus another 12 on top. After your strike, you slice through the proboscis, sending its tongue kind of like just down the track, bouncing, disappearing off into the distance towards the crowd of Ravagers that are following after the train. This creature is very low. Doesn't look like it could survive another round of combat.
Darn, I wish I had something else to throw at it.
I think you do still have a bonus action, so if you've got a small weapon you can offhand, you could do that.
I cast gun.
I'm a little too close to cast gun.
Yeah.
1 second. I'm having to add something on the fly.
Fuck it, be brave.
This is an offhand attack. It doesn't get the
Doesn't get your deck. It doesn't get your mod. Your
Oh, it doesn't get my
so
mod.
the attack roll is the same. It's the damage that's lower.
Okay. Shoot, we'll just have to remember that when I hit the button. Dagger. Boot knife, go.
17 hits. No sneak.
Yeah,
and
that'd be
no-
a 3.
Just be a 3, yeah, okay. Does hurt it, but not enough to bring it down, Uther, as you embed the knife into it. That you?
That's literally everything I got.
Okay, back to Adhira in the back of the train.
She sort of calls off to her side. Clara, I think they took one.
Okay, go get her.
She's going to exit out through this window.
Yep.
How easy can I move along, like, the side of this, or, like, get on top?
I mean, you could hang off the side by using your scythe to latch onto the top, and then just wall run while dragging the scythe along. It'd screech like crazy, but you can do it.
I am going to do that.
Okay.
And get to here.
Yeah.
I would like to use my action to wrap one of the spectral arms around a civilian.
Yeah.
They have the effect where they use charisma for strength checks.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try and pull her closer.
Okay, go ahead and do so, and I'll roll contested against you from this creature's point of view. Oh. As it's flying, it's a little unwieldy. It's like trying to support its weight and hers. It's not the biggest thing ever, Adhira. You managed to wrap one of one of the spectral arms around and pull her close to you. Would you like to put her to the right-hand side of you, or?
Yes.
You manage to safely extract and place her back on the train from the Shrike's grip, Adhira.
Okay. I don't think that counts as
so grapple.
logitech.
Yeah, no. So grapples and otherwise are modified attack actions. So technically, that is still an attack action to grab someone.
Then I will use an unarmed bonus action attack with one of the arms to try and skewer this thing in the air.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead. Hits.
Acid damage with it.
9 points damage doesn't quite kill it, but let me just double check. But I think force damage does stagger this. Yes, it is force damage. So you can give a teamwork point out, Adhira.
I will give a teamwork point to Clara.
Okay, so you've got Clara there, teamwork point. Anything else in your turn, Adhira?
No.
The rampaging Ravager is going to run and flank this Empress Peacekeeper from behind. Since it is rampaging, it does have a pack tactics as well, so we'll have advantage. 15 actually does not break through the AC as he is able to slam himself into a corner and present metal to the teeth and claws. This rampaging Ravager is going to jump up after Sky and attack her. Natural 1 misses. Caliban, being followed by this one Ravager over and over again. It keeps hounding you, but has yet to sink its teeth into you properly.
Switching my bonus action, turning my blade back to its gun form. Not having any of this thing's shit. Taking a stab at it again.
Okay, yeah, back into blade form and stabbing at it. 9 unfortunately misses.
Your fucking action surge is stabbing
Yeah,
at it again.
go for it.
Are you kidding me?
I'm sorry to say that on top of the train with everything whistling past, your scarf keeps blowing up into your face, your hair is whipping around, you're unable to get like a good line of sight on it as it's running at you, you're unable to land an attack.
Ah.
Anything else, Caliban?
Luther, how are your rolls?
You need scarf training?
Does your scarf even billow in the wind as you pose atop a building?
Can I have a free action to billow?
Yeah, you stand and it majestically drifts ahead of you though. It doesn't like, you're looking the wrong direction.
Wraps in front of his face.
And I'm
Scarf of
just
billowing.
smugly looking at it at Hira.
At which point it is going to try and bite you as you look smugly at Hira. 11, it's still unable to break your AC.
This smug aura, it just works in the form of armor.
It just pisses off everyone and sends them through a frenzy.
At this point, attaching to the back of the train, 3 Ravagers haven't managed to chew through yet, but they are attached to the back carriage. Give me 1 second.
We might want to ditch this last carriage.
And they will all act... No, actually, no. I'll roll individually for each one. I'm not gonna... actually a bad roll for me, because that's above. 12. Dayfra.
First things first, I'm going to do another lightning kick. I think it's not gonna look like too agile. I'm still in training, but like run up and then do like both feet in front of me, trying to like land on my hand.
Yeah.
So that's another recklessly done attack. An attack, overload, lightning boots. That's a 16.
16 does hit.
7 lightning damage.
7 points of damage is enough with the combined assault with the two of you. You manage to kill the creature. 3 of its limbs are still hooked into the train, so its body is still attached to the top of the locomotive, but it is no longer moving.
Okay. Luther, you got this. And I just move on. 1, 2, 3. Is there a way I can like drop it down?
Yes.
Because I did hear fighting in this section. So
Yeah. So there's like a ladder system on the back where you could just drop, and you're probably strong enough to just land that.
yeah, I just drop 4, 5. Could I try to either tackle, just shove this guy behind me so that I'm like meat shielding this?
Yeah, so that's the end of your movement there, basically. So you want him outside one like that. Is that the...
Yeah.
Yeah, done.
And I would have gained a teamwork point from that lightning.
Yeah,
But
that's
I
fair
can
to
just
say.
lie.
Yeah, you would.
I would give that teamwork point to the guy I just shot. To the guy to my other side here.
Yeah, absolutely. Makes sense to me.
As I now am coming to reinforce these guys, hopefully boosting morale.
That you, Jacob? Sorry, I assume yes. I think I may have missed you.
Yes, I said
Yeah.
yes.
No, it's fine, yeah. I think
Mike
I just
didn't
missed
pick
you,
it up.
that's all. It is his turn, so he's going to call you in for a teamwork attack, nodding at you as he takes a shot, and you can do a ranged gauntlet thingy.
Yeah, I essentially try to aim at the same place he is, Main attack, overload, normal gauntlets. 13.
13 does not break through AC, but his does, and does manage to get a shot in its backside as it had turned around to attack Sky. It is looking weak, Dafer, but it is still moving and very deadly with its claws at the front there. We've got some shrikes to look at. This one that was nibbling on the wheel is going to break through the window and crawl over the ceiling next to Clara. Two of them next to each other, they're going to combine their noises into a sonic pulse. I need a Constitution saving throw, please, Clara, as you're hit with a thunder wave.
Probably not.
You do take 7 points of thunder damage. And I think either give me an acrobatics or an athletics check.
Okay. 17.
17. You managed to avoid being blown out of the broken window you came smashing through as the thunder wave pulses over you and sort of slides you back along the ground towards the edge of the train. This Ravager is trying to chew on this one soldier still. Fails to do so. He's holding in there. This Shrike is going to fly up next to you, Caliban. Can I have a wisdom saving throw?
Okay. Wisdom saving throw. 1 second.
Please, Caliban. 14 makes the save. You are not stunned.
I'm fucking invincible.
That's a very brave statement for someone still on the outside of a train. This soldier who's being protected by Dafer will take a shot at the Ceratosaurus. That 17 does hit for 7 piercing damage in the backside of the creature. Where is this? Oh, on the outside of the train here. One of the back section Ravagers is going to try and chew through. 21 does manage to bite into the metal and make its way through. Soldier in the same train is going to... it's got this rampaging one, but the weaker one is right next to him, so I think he'll try and bayonet that. 13. It's too quick, nimble, as it darts around the carriage, is unable to stick it. Another Ravager trying to break in the back of the train. Crit just manages to break through, easily shredding the already damaged train section. This Shrike is going to try and stun the 3 civilians that are huddled together there for safety. That's 3 wisdom saving throws. 1, 2, 3. 2 of them are stunned, the top and the bottom. Mark them for my reference. This Ravager is still trying to break through the outside of the train on the left there in the same carriage. And still is unable to break through the metal. The Shrider is gone. Clara. You have got the 2 Shrikes next to you that just burst noise.
Yeah. I think I'm just gonna have to do the same thing as last time, because I
Stuck
any
in a corner.
AoE things. Yeah, I'm stuck in a corner there. So I'll steady aim. I guess try and hit the one in front of me.
Holy shit!
Well, that's gonna be a number.
Well, I'll be pissed.
This thing is so dead. Even without, like, yeah, just so dead as you slice it in two and it returns to your hand.
Nice. That solves part of the problem. But yes, unfortunately, I can't do anything else.
Okay, one more down, Clara. This Ceratosaurus in the north is going to turn its attention on you, Dayfra. Stepping forward, it swings 3 times.
Advantage?
22, 24, and 25.
All of those hit.
9, 14, and 13 have 2, 4, 7, and 6.
Okay, so...
These professional armed guards who have been just getting slaughtered by this thing make way for a kid, half their age, who just comes up and takes 3 blows on the chin.
I think just the sheer size of him and the barrier of energy that is crackling across his countenance would soften the ego blow a little bit. Plus, probably the relief that none of those hit them. I don't think they're too worried right now, as opposed to more relieved that that did impact Dayfra than them.
Thank the divine that this absolute freaking nature showed up.
Exactly. This Shrike is going to latch onto the corner here. Adhira, I need a wisdom saving throw from you.
Oh no.
Unfortunately, Adhira, that will stun you. You are latched onto the side with your scythe, so you don't drop, especially since your spirit is technically able to maintain that as opposed to you, but you are stunned at present, and you will be no longer stunned at the end of its next turn.
Okay.
Sky is going to focus on the civilians in here, is going to drop down, attack the rampaging Ravager. 29 hits for 15. Doesn't quite kill it, so she'll swing again. 14 misses, third attack. 26 hits. That is enough to bring it down. And then she will move up towards this Shrike and actually get herself on the other side just in case this Ravager comes in. Uther.
I am trying to decide if dislodging this thing is more important than just getting inside the train right now.
It is dead, but the train doesn't seem to have sped up any at all. Give me a perception check. You can't see that it's lodged into like the track or anything. It doesn't look like its body is dragging at all on the ground. It just looks like it's more adhered to the locomotive still. So yeah, up to you whether you'd like to try and remove it or...
I'm going to count that as an issue for a few moments from now, and I would like to get inside of the train.
Yeah, so there's either the hole it made in the north section, like over here, or you can go in through the back, this door here.
I think I'll just hop over it and drop down.
Okay. Slipping inside, you see there are a few staff, like engineers in here, that are injured or otherwise unable to act. The main driver is currently at the helm of the locomotive and is holding down the brake handle right now. There's this black poison that's coursing all over their body, and they seem not all there, Uther. There's like some haziness to their eyes.
Can I dislodge him from his controls?
He's like death gripped, like rigor mortis onto it, but you can attempt to pull him off, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll try to get him off the controls then.
Yeah, do you just want to yank him, or like what are you trying to...
trying to think of what I would have to. Excuse me. I don't really have any good options, so
I mean, you have a gun. You can just whack him in the temple with that.
okay, so I know that a gun solves many problems, but
No, I'm saying it is hard. You can hit with gun hard in temple.
I think Dafer is trying to say if you knock him out, he might loosen his grip. Uther, his grip does seem unnaturally tight, like his body's seized up, so it could, knocking him out could loosen his grip, or it might not. It's sort of a gamble without knowing medically what's going on.
yeah, I would like to.
Do you want to give me an Arcana check looking at the controls as well?
Sure. Yikes. Sure is a train.
From what you can tell, the controls look to be mechanical into arcane, so you could maybe break the lever and then shove it yourself, essentially. Also,
What I was wondering if I could just like take my sword and cut the handle.
yeah, you could
And then
definitely,
just-
you could definitely try that.
All right.
Did everyone lose music, or is it just me?
Yes.
I lost
Okay,
music.
give me 1 second.
I don't think I break the train's AC.
14 is enough to cut through a lever with a big sword. I think that's fine. Ooh.
Yeah.
Roll 20 didn't like that. Let's see. Let's see what's going on with Roll 20. Give me 1 moment. Technical difficulties on the side of Roll 20. Could also be the weather. It has not been friendly around here lately.
Is it ever?
Oh, there's a storm at the moment. Like, it's especially bad.
Yeah, it's with our second set of weather warnings in a short period of time.
Can't believe all my British friends are dead.
Just inside, buddy. There we go. It's finally loading.
It's all the mummies they ate. It did something to them as a population.
It has signed me in as a player view instead of as a GM view, so let's try that again. There we go. That sounds like music back to me. Is that playing for everyone?
Yeah, music's been back.
Okay, cool. It was just me then. Only I was left in the void of darkness and silence. 14 does cut into the handle. A 6 is enough to break it. Do you want to give me an athletics check as well at advantage, since you've got more purchase on it now? You wedge your blade into the gap where the brake handle is and manage to, outside of the grip of this person who's in some weird rigor mortis fugue, shift it with your weight as the blade acts as a lever point, and all of a sudden the train lurches forward, the Ravager horde starting to grow quite rapidly into the distance. The train is resuming its speed. Uther, you have restored the speed of the train.
How do the other people in, like, if I leave, are they going to be okay?
They look injured, like, when the hook claws came through, some of them are scraped, they can't, like, move too well, but they don't look like they're in imminent threat of dying. Just at a glance, Uther, as you're looking through.
Yeah.
Obviously, you need to stop and triage them properly to really know, but...
Can I guide this guy to a sitting position, or is he just like that?
You can lean him against something, but he's very much, like, stuck in place.
Yeah, I'm going to lean him up against the wall, and I still hear fighting in the back, so
Yes.
I think I need to... use whatever's left of my movement to do that, which I don't
Okay.
think is much.
Yep, so you continue moving back down the train.
I don't think I got movement, honestly, so next turn I'll be...
I'm just gonna...
Wait, no, I haven't done a bonus action. So, hunting action, dash.
Oh, true, yep, you got bonus action to dash. I think that takes us to Adhira, so Adhira, over to you.
I am stunned.
Yes, thank you, Adhira. I apologize for your
Unfortunately.
stunnedness. It is Ravager's turn instead. It is attacking the one Peacekeeper that's been holding out for you guys. Oh, I've lost all my stat blocks, so I'll have to reopen them one by one, but that's fine. 19 does finally break through this guy. Technically it would be 22 as well. But 3 piercing isn't enough to kill him, so he's still in. Caliban, you are not stunned and on top of the train with 2 enemies spy you.
Kill.
Yes, which one are you targeting? The Shrike or the Ravager? Ravager it is.
Yes. This has been a thorn in my side for as long as I can say.
18 does hit. 5 piercing damage does injure it, but it was mostly unharmed up until now, unfortunately, Caliban, as you get your first blood. 23 hits as well, though. Another 3 damage on top does bloody it. Another round like that, and you'll have it dead.
Bet. I'm still in the fight.
Still in the fight, untouched. Anything else?
That'll be all.
Ravager in the back, trying to chew through the back wall, does succeed in doing so. Will break through. The Ravager next to you, Caliban, trying to bite at you, but you remain unharmed. I'm going to remove this layer counter as there is no more a chance of things catching up with you. Dafer.
I learned, and I have the best memory of all time, so I know that this thing is weak to ankle biters. Therefore, I shall do the ankle biting.
Contested athletics, yeah?
Trying to make it knock it prone, yes.
11, I rolled really badly.
Right, and I get advantage on mine since I am in overload.
Yep.
That's...
Unfortunately, 11 is better than 10. As you slam your shoulder into it, the smaller space makes it harder to tip than you're used to, Dafer, as it's got more anchor points. That is your action?
Is my action, however that was an attack action.
Yes, so you can bonus action attack.
Therefore I can, I slam into it, and that was my attempt to attack with my gloves. I just give up at one point, and I just unelegantly stomp down with a lightning charged foot onto its claw.
Yes, just stamp on it, yeah.
I'm gonna do that one recklessly, because that way at least it's
more likely to hit, yeah.
Yeah. So that's an offhand attack, overload, and lightning boots. Also that, oh god, that also misses.
Unfortunately, lightning dissipates through the carriage as you slam your foot down. The metal kind of takes some of the shock away, and the Ceratosaurus is mostly unharmed.
Okay. In my inner mind, I'm just shouting for, I'm just shouting for Uther, like, save my ass! But outside, I try to look as calm and collected as I can, which, 1 second, figure out how well that is. That is not good at all.
The 2 guards next to you can see you straining against it with your hands on one of its claws as it's pushing you back, like slowly winning because it's got its tail propping it forward. And yeah, they can see you struggling, sweat beginning to like drip down your forehead as you're fighting against this thing.
Now it is the guard's turn to my side.
He is going to try and slip around to the unprotected, the unprotected side of this Ceratosaurus and stab it with a bayonet. Uh, 15 fails to break through the AC, unfortunately. Where is this? Oh, it is the one next to Clara. It is going to crawl along the ceiling and exit out the train and take flight and kind of take a view of the train as a total. Another Ravager biting at this Peacekeeper that is holding the line. Does make it through. 6 piercing damage. He is alive on a single thread, stuck between the 2 Ravagers.
I'm gonna save that for you.
This strike is going to take the disengage action, move away from Caliban, and join the second strike in the air. That's down here. Where is this Peacekeeper? Oh, it's the one behind Dayfair. He's just going to take a shot over Dayfair's shoulder. 13 misses. Did I skip over something there?
Left. All right.
Yeah,
Ravagers.
in the back here. It is going to slip on the outside of the train and move along the outside surface, running along. Peacekeeper that is holding it as best he can, bayonet attack against the one in front of him, does hit, and does bring the Ravager down, clearing one more out from the train. Back left here is going to mirror the other one's movement and move outside the train and along it.
Creature near Sky is next.
Yeah, it is going to... I think it's going to try and run. Sky will get an attack of opportunity. 26 hits. Does kill it just enough to bring it down as it tries to flee. Oh, did I accidentally do that one early? Looks like it. Ravager trying to break in from the outside here, next to Sky. 13 fails to break through. Clara. No enemies within 5 feet this time.
Haha, which means I can take a look at this enemy who is within more feet. I'm definitely going to try and save this guy. He's been putting in work.
He has.
You're a week from retirement.
Yeah, let's just go for it. 21.
That will absolutely hit.
I'm going to spend a point of patience on this.
Mm-hmm. Upgrading the sneak die.
Okay. Yeah, upgrading the sneak die.
18 damage. Almost kills it in one hit as you slice through the rampaging Ravager. Yeah, you do have 2 teamwork points, that is fair.
I'm going to spend a teamwork point on that guy, actually.
Yeah, he'll turn around and he will bring a bayonet to charge. Unfortunately, 8 misses.
Damn.
Tried.
I'm going to move up next to him, though.
Yeah, perfect.
I shall be the Bastion.
Any way you could get him out of the way? Or would that put him in attack of opportunity?
I don't think Clara's got any actions left to move him or anything like that. But technically,
okay,
Clara can take the hit for him if she wants to, being adjacent to the target. So you guys can cover for people like that as EKs. So. The Ceratosaurus is going to... You didn't actually hit it, did you, Dayfair? So I think
I did not.
It's going to split its attacks. It's going to use 2 on you first, Dayfair, and then 1 on the Peacekeeper. 17 and 23.
Both hit.
Okay. 5 and 3. 20 does hit the Peacekeeper as well. He does live. He has 1 health left as he gets scratched across the chest by the attack breaking through the armor. Where is the strike? Oh, the one next to Adhira. Used its stun ability last turn, so can't use it again. It's going to fly away from Adhira, who is stunned, so can't make attack opportunity, but it's just going to move up this way. It is Sky's turn. These people are no longer stunned. And Adhira, you're no longer stunned as well.
I'm tempted to just use a level 1 slot it just to kill it.
Sky is going to move here. First, make an attack versus the Ravager on the outside of the train. Natural 1 misses. Natural 20 hits. Ooh, awful roll by me. That is 12 damage. Does have one more attack, so we'll use it. 15 hits. Another 14 is enough to finish off the next Ravager. And then she will... I think she'll move to get between this Ravager and the 3 people in this carriage. Uther.
How tall is that? Is this thing?
It's big enough that it's sort of like ducking in the carriage. I think it's like 10 to 15 feet tall.
If I was to attack through the roof, I could hit it, though.
Yeah, absolutely. If you were on top and you put your blade through, you'd be able to hit it from above.
Ooh boy, I'm going to make a lot of movement. I'm going to have to do my cunning action for more movement, I think, because, yeah. 30 foot puts me like here. I'll cunning action dash to get on top of the train. Just kind of excuse myself around that guy. And, yeah, I'll just stab straight down.
Yeah, go for it.
Does it count?
22 hits. You got sneak as well. With Daver pushing against it, its tail wedged, its head up against it, Uther, your blade comes down through the roof and shoves down into the back of, like, through the plating, and just instantly severs something important as the Ceratosaurus drops.
That was action, cutting action, so I have like a little bit of leftover movement if we don't count the climb.
Yep, running along the top.
So, yeah, I'll say like here.
Adhira, no longer discombobulated, back in the fight. You've got the Rampaging Ravager and then several more to your south. Obviously, there's that Shrike that's flying away to the north as well.
I am going to... Like, this is the lip of one train car and another, yeah?
Yeah, correct.
I'm going to pull myself up onto the top. Kind of like standing over, and
Yeah.
I'm going to stab over the edge with one of my spectral arms.
I'm going to move you one to the left just for clarity, but I understand that you're stood above there. Go ahead and attack. 14 misses, unfortunately. Just misses.
Spending a spirit point for a flurry of blows. Next stab.
Hits.
This will have a spiritual acid coating it.
With Clara's first strike, your follow-up is enough to bring it down there.
And then pulling it out, I'm going to rush over on top and make my last swing against this Ravager.
Okay. 20 hits. 5 damage hurts it, but is not quite enough to bring it down. Softened up for Caliban.
That is my turn.
Caliban, over to you. You've got the one softened up Ravagers, and then there's a few more, and the Shrikes as well, as they're all sort of gathered at the back of the train here.
This one right here. I'm gonna swipe at it with my dagger real quick, see if I can finish it off.
Hits. 4 damage is enough. You do finish it off with the dagger.
And this one right here, rushing towards it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow.
23 hits as well. 10 damage, bloodies it as you strike at it and bring it lower.
Nice.
Is that you?
That'll be the end of my turn.
There is a Ravager in the train still. It will run up and then it will dash. It is next to Clara but unable to do anything. Dafer.
Dafer, very unperturbed that Uther once again came in clutch and just killed the thing outright when he basically couldn't do anything. Just nods at Uther and then just breaks out into a sprint. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Action dash. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Trying to get to my compadres essentially.
Yep, just running as quickly as you can. Gonna remove a couple of these peacekeepers as they would just stay back to protect the locomotive just in case. Pair of shrikes next to each other gonna target you, Caliban. Need a Constitution saving throw. Technically, so does the Ravager, so I will make a con save for it as well. It fails. You guys take 5 thunder damage, and you're both pushed 15 feet along the top of the train, so to the other side, basically.
Oh, okay.
You just get shoved along the top.
Oh, that's kind of what I wanted anyway.
That uses both their turns. The other peacekeeper is up here protecting the train. Both of them are on 1 health as well. I think, yeah, this Ravager is going to move around and will attack you, Caliban, as you've got 2 next to you now. 17 versus AC, Caliban?
That does not hit.
Does not hit. You managed to protect yourself. Peacekeeper behind Clara will fire over her shoulder at the Ravager.
That doesn't damage her ears.
No, the shells protect your ears. They just cover them up. No, 5 misses, unfortunately. It's trying to hit a moving, jumping around creature in a train carriage. Another Ravager attacking you, Caliban. Natural one misses you. Clara.
Oh look, where I am, next to something again. Christ alive. I'm actually gonna cunning action disengage. I just don't want to be next to this thing.
Yeah, you got it.
And then I can attack normally. 18.
18 does hit.
Lovely. Thank you for standing next to it, Adhira.
Yeah, 16 points of damage. It is very low. You are...
I am above it.
You're technically above it, but there's enough holes in the train that at this point, especially this back carriage, that I'm happy to count it anyway. I thought about it, but I'm good. Yeah, no, it is very, very low after that. Anything else, Clara, or are you good there?
No, I'm good here.
I think this Shrike is just going to peel off and run away. Sky will move. Well, I think seeing that this one Ravager is low here, she'll go up on top of the train and will swap her axe mode and attack the 2 Ravagers next to Caliban. 2 hits. 11 and 13. Kills one, damages the other, makes it somewhat low, but unable to finish it entirely. Uther.
I think I am just going to double dash my way forward up the train.
Yeah, moving as quickly as you can along the train. Adhira.
Yep.
You've got 1 Ravager below you, 1 next to Caliban, and it looks like the Shrikes are peeling away at present, leaving the train behind.
She is going to pull out a crystal, and excuse me as I finish typing in the last little bits of this
No, sorry.
So, she is going to cast Storm Knife and throw it at that Shrike.
Is that a dexterity save? No, it's an attack roll first, and then it's a dex save.
Yes.
Yeah. 18 hits.
So, one piercing.
One piercing, and then they both make dex saves against half damage on a success.
Yes.
Both fail, so both take the 4 damage. Unfortunately, it's not a direct hit, it's like a glancing blow that does rock a couple of them in the air, hurts them, Atira, but doesn't finish them off.
Hey. What do I have for a bonus action? I think I'm going to duck back down and try and come in through this window.
Yeah.
And that'll be my turn.
Okay, cool. Caliban.
Let's see. I'll take one more swing at this.
Yeah, go for it. It's very low after Sky hit it. 17 hits. Not quite that low. That doesn't... Oh, that's the offhand dagger. That makes sense. But yeah, it is hurt, but still stood.
God damn it. Hurt.
12 misses as you manage to stick your dagger in it, and then it like scampers away, kind of pushed away by the damage as it panics.
Many such cases.
Is that you?
That'll be all.
This Ravager would go after the Peacekeeper and attack. 10, however, it misses as his armor protects him. Dafer.
Okay. Dafer, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, moves on and just like does a quick distance calculation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That thing is just in extended range of my gauntlets. So I'm shouting, "Peacekeeper, duck!" And I just very roughly, because like this is I'm not the greatest range shot. So I basically just aim where the Peacekeeper roughly was, because that's where the Ravager must have been, and I just wildly shoot at that direction.
Yeah,
as much as I can.
He drops to like a knee firing position from his like standing braced position, and your shot goes over the top. Go ahead and roll.
Was reckless, so that's a straight shot,
roll.
even though it would normally be at disadvantage. So that does not get overload. That's a normal gauntlet attack. That's a 16 to hit.
It hits, and 6 is enough as the force washes over it. Something important breaks, and it tumbles back through the carriage, broken.
That is my turn.
The 2 Shrikes will peel away in unison. Peacekeeper will take a shot at the Ravager at disadvantage on the roof. 16 does hit it. Just glancing at Caliban, as the one next to you is still alive. And it will try and bite you. 17 versus AC, Caliban.
Still does not hit.
Still doesn't hit. Clara, 1 enemy left.
Oh well. Right. Let's try and get rid of this one enemy then. What? Oh my god. Oh, out there.
Caliban.
It is trying to chew on Caliban right now, so it's up to you.
Clariban moment.
I think I'm gonna have to like go out the door and get back onto the roof
Yes.
to be able to see this. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, cool. 14.
14 just misses, I'm sorry to say, as on top of the train, a bit too blustery as the weapon returns without finding mark.
You're shooting at the little Ravager motherfucker.
Yeah, the one that.
Yeah, the one that's next to you. Oh, I'm gonna call in an extra teamwork point and get Caliban to try and attack it.
Yeah.
Maybe he can save himself.
14 misses, as the 2 of you, unfortunately unable to find purchase on the Ravager, moving too rapidly along the roof of the carriage.
like he sees the gunshot just as he's about to strike, but he misses. Looks back at Clara like, I got this.
I can't believe you guys just had a literal like Weiss and Ruby moment where like you throw the chakram, it like dodges that, but that also makes Caliban's like swing go wide as the two of you.
We have anti-synergy, what else can I say?
We call that enemies to lovers.
Sky.
I call this enemies to deeper enemies.
Sky will finish the last one off, moving forward, slices the Ravager into... 1 second.
You just like Caliban just like slowly just climbs back into the train.
Sky drops down into the carriage with you, sees Uther and Dafa running this way, says, how's the front of the train? Intact?
They're hurt, but they're alive. Someone's poisoned real bad.
She nods, starts moving to the front of the train, says there should be a sending station somewhere on this train, near the front. Try and get in contact with the Naiad Dawn, get them to come close, and we'll move the injured over to the medical bay. And she herself will heads to the locomotive to check over any of the like damages or anything like that. She sweeps the train basically.
Certain and so there are contraptions on this train to contact the Naiad Dawn somehow.
Yeah. So there should be basically like a sending station, like a place where you can contact the Naiad Dawn from.
I assume that would be back towards the front.
Yeah, we'll be back at the front of the train.
Then yeah, I'll do my double dash bullshit to get up there.
Getting in contact, speaking through the device that's there. You watch as your train slows and comes to pace alongside this one. Swaps the track so that it's on the military line, just long enough for you guys to start handing over the wounded or otherwise poisoned and so on and so forth. The peacekeepers that are hurt all unclip various things to tend to themselves quicker in the moment. The one peacekeeper that was fighting in the back carriage with the rest of you will turn to you, Clara, and say, where's your train heading to?
We're going to the Golden Bell Mines.
He nods and says, we'll have our train follow you there so that we can seek repairs. If you're okay giving us an escort?
I think that's pretty much part of our job.
He nods, thank you. You couldn't have come at we were in trouble there.
You look like you were doing a pretty good job.
Doesn't feel like it. He's like winces as he downs one of these medical potions in order to heal up the worst of it. Starts checking through some of the civilians there. I think there's 6 people that you guys saved on the train that he starts talking to and directing towards the front of the train.
Is there any reason to keep the big dead thing around, or should I try to dislodge that after doing the sending stuff?
Sky, who's in the front looking at the controls, shakes her head and says, get rid of it.
I'm going to go up and just kind of cut the arms off so it slumps off.
You sever it, Sky pushes out any of the attached parts from the inside of the locomotive. Is there anyone in particular who's taking the injured across to the medical station on the train, or...?
I will.
I support Clara in that endeavor.
Okay, so Dafa and Clara, you help hand the injured off from train to train, take them through to the medical area. Just one of you want to give me a medicine check with advantage?
Yes. This was my recent proficiency because I kept doing medicine-y things. 21.
Very cool. You able to tend to most of them. The engineer who was poisoned at the front keeps trying to free himself and get towards like the end, like exit the carriage you're in. But I think Dafer, you'd be able to hold him down, while Clara, you're able to administer an antidote that's in the medical area. But yeah, he seemed to be like almost compelled by whatever this substance was until it's detoxed from his system, Clara, you can tell. After which he sort of falls, almost like exhausted, like he was using an extraordinary amount of his energy to keep trying to do this.
Sorry, he's confused. He's confused why he was trying to do this, or what? I missed the last sentence.
It's more like a compulsion that once Clara manages to neutralize it, all slips away, and the body just is exhausted, like as if it was working overtime to try and fulfill this compulsion before they fall inert.
Okay. I just having held him down until it kicks in, I'll just put him somewhere off to the side. If we have like medical restraints to one of the bed, I'll likely attach those just in case.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
And then go back to helping Clara.
Yeah, Clara, you're able to treat and save all of the injured people, the engineers from the front. Some of the soldiers who had rougher wounds, you're able to patch them up as well. With the medical equipment that you guys took with you, the extra carriage, it is easy to do.
We did it. Good job, guys.
I'll feel that tomorrow, and I like hold my hand to one neck and just try to rotate the arm that the Ravager chewed on the most. Not the Ravager, the Ceratosaurus chewed on the most.
Eventually on the other train, Sky will call to those of you left on it and just say, we'll leave only the few of the peacekeepers and engineers in the locomotive, and they'll follow us to our destination. All the civilians, they'll be coming on board with us. Best that they stay with us, I think.
Alrighty. Going to collapse my scythe and start making my way back over to the Dawn.
You guys all cross back over to your EK cabin, and the journey continues with all that adrenaline pumping. It starts to like fade out of the system, heartbeat in your ears as you continue the journey back to the normal relative peace that was there before. Sky will look at each of you as you kind of sit, and all of that starts to wear off, all those chemicals leave you, and just say, good job. That was high pressure for a first situation to encounter on this journey. You did well.
It certainly felt very busy.
It's not often trains end up in a situation as hectic as that. Normally it's running into a crowd of things, it's a flurry of activity, and then it's pushed off. The creature at the front, it's able to get into people's heads, make them do things. Likely took control of the engineering staff, tried to make them slow the train down. Good job handling that, Dather and Uther.
I
What was
believe
that thing? Common?
Not common, but not unheard of as well. They will wait on the tracks and try and grab onto anything that passes underneath them. The rate of their success of coupling onto a train is low, but when they do, it's often not a good situation to be in. Still, it makes me ponder where that military train is. It's not been on the track so far that we've seen. Hopefully it's still ahead of us and still moving.
Should we send word to someone that it's still missing?
The engineers in the locomotive up front will take care of that. I had a brief word with them when I crossed over about what happened. They'll submit a report about the train we rescued and where it's heading back to Empress City, just so they know it will be gone for repairs.
Okay.
I'm personally more regarding that earlier fight. I'm putting a lot of that to Uther. I never want to get on the bad side of your sword. That I almost cleaved that thing in two.
What happened up there?
Which time?
Which time?
So, Big Thing had its proboscis in the locomotive. Tried to do the same thing to me. Didn't really succeed. I just pulled it back, and Uther just did some move that very neatly almost decapitated it. Just really need a minor push from me to finish the job.
Sorry, did you just say it had its proboscis stuck in the... Ew.
Yeah, it injects
I just
poison.
very casually point at the part of my neck where the proboscis was sunk in, and some black pieces of like coloration remains. Yeah, here.
Can you get that checked out?
The doctor is right there. But I'm not feeling any side effects. I'm not too worried.
At a glance, you can see that Daphra's system is sort of rejecting it. It's like pushing the poison back out of the wound. With the shell, his fortitude is quite robust, but it's still this like nasty-looking puncture wound in the neck, right? That's like bleeding out this tar-like poison over his neck.
Yeah, if that stuff had hit me,
yeah.
I would be off in a ditch somewhere.
It's fine. You're made of sterner stuff than you give yourself credit for.
I have one more thing to cover before we turn in for the night. Clara has already met them, but she stops and unhooks the vessel from the belt around her hip and places it on one of the tables in front of him before lightly tapping against its side.
A emanation of smoke, and then a small frog knight-like figure, like an armored little frogman, appears on the table in front of everyone, bows, and says, "I am Terminus. Pleased to meet you all."
He's what allows me to do a lot of the stuff that I do.
Most of the fancy and powerful and impressive things.
Mouth closes into a thin line, but she doesn't say anything else.
And he's humble as well, as you can tell.
I
like this one already.
Mushrooms.
You
got favorites?
One shouldn't pick favorites among one's children.
That sounds like an excuse to me.
But then whispers out one corner of their mouth, anything with a flat top.
That basically
Okay,
covers
is
like
that-
a decent.
Go on.
A basically covers like a decent amount of edible and non-edible mushrooms, I assume.
They're all edible to me.
He doesn't
Strictly
have to
speaking,
worry
I guess you
about
can
it.
eat all of them once.
Now you're getting it.
But hopefully, he should be of help when we enter these caves, due to the large amount of mushrooms. They fall under his domain.
Now, some of them may have gone down different family lines. It's been a while since we communicated, so they might not all listen to me, but they should respect what I have to say.
You talk to the mushrooms.
You don't?
No, I don't. Because they don't
doesn't.
talk.
Does he have a talk with mushrooms spell?
I mean, I consider mushrooms for the most part really nice parts of a soup.
I don't find that offensive.
I mean, they're delicious. What am I supposed to say?
He nods and says, No, I'm just saying, I think you're right. I just didn't want you to worry or wake up in a sweat and think, oh no, I hope I didn't insult the fine frogman by saying that the thing he invented are good for eating or anything like that. Do you know what I mean?
Aether will nod, but his facial expression pretty much says, I don't understand why I should be would have worried to have potentially offended you, but I'll nod along.
Terminus will say,
Not
I
a-
love humans. They're great in a soup.
Okay, Grandpa, I think that's enough. It's time for your bedtime.
No, it's so cramped in there.
Aether will just not follow that insinuation to its conclusion because it makes absolutely no sense, no logical sense. Because he is a frog knight, therefore he's not a mushroom. Therefore, the insinuation makes no sense. So, David's just
Just staring at this
following
small,
along.
several inch
We've
tall
broken
frog.
to German.
Sky will just say, as long as you have it under control, Natira.
I have it under control. What's there to not have under control?
I'm not saying you didn't. I'm just saying as long as. That's all.
Right. Anyways, what's for dinner? I'm starving after that fight.
The dinner carriage would be just like, basically like cafeteria food, like one would expect it at school, but obviously Dayfra can,
Oh man, square pizzas.
I would like to enhance that because my enhancing that means if anyone after today spends a hit dice, they get another hit dice.
yeah,
Is that
so
part of the chef feature?
if anyone does want to spend a hit dice recovering this evening, you can add an extra one for free.
Yeah,
plus
I'm gonna
two
spend
people
one.
get plus 2 people get temp HP, which I'm gonna say are Clara and Adhira. They look the roughest to me, so I put like I
They
assume
were
we
the-
have some cheese, and I give them like
Oh shit.
Oh,
a small topping, more cheese.
Yes.
how much temp HP do you get? Is it 6 again?
1d4 plus 2.
Yeah, you've got to roll for them. Or they can roll, I don't mind, but yeah. 4 temp HP for
4.
Clara. 3 for Atira. As you
Back at
guys
31.
sit down and enjoy your train carriage meal. Some of the civilians are in there. A few of them stop you and thank you for helping their train. Otherwise, yeah, it's a peaceful evening. The next day, some of the engineers are a little bit put out that they're unable to essentially test out the full capacity of the engine because it would mean leaving the other locomotive behind. But Sky kind of settles them and says we can do it on the way back. Is there... Yes.
During that short rest, I would like to do two things. Yeah, you tell me if that's actually possible.
Yeah,
We've
go for
all
it.
been under the influence of aid so far.
Yeah.
I still have an aid charge. Can I use that to essentially recast aid on one of us, re-granting us 5 HP, or is that not possible because we already have the temp aid?
I think because the effect is still in place, I would say you can't cast it over the top. That's my first instinct, but let me just take a look at the aid spell as a...
Yeah. I'm explicitly asking because in my... Like, it doesn't hurt to ask, but my initial interpretation would be it doesn't work that way.
I would say it doesn't work that way as well. Having just read it, it seems like an effect that if you were to cast again wouldn't work because it would be the same named effect. But yeah.
And then during that short rest, I would like to use 1 hit die, so essentially which doubles up to 2 hit die.
Yeah, go for it.
As per the chef feature, which everybody else also gets to do, if they want to spend the hit die.
Yeah, I think Clara rolled 2 8s. Wild.
That's
Double max.
20! Jesus Christ.
Oh, do you know what? I completely forgot. It would have been another Sunday, so if people are taking their supplements, you can increase your max HP by 1 as well, up to a theoretical maximum. So I forgot about that. That's my bad. I need to try and remember that more.
Drugs.
Okay.
The next day is relatively less eventful. A message comes through to the engineering room that the military train that went missing has been discovered by a train further up the tracks, but they were unable to stop to investigate it. Sky will pull it to you guys. Do you want to stop the 2 trains that you guys are convoying to take a look at it because it's coming up? Or would you rather pass it by and leave it to another train to take a look at? Up to you
I would be
guys.
down to investigate. So the military train has already been stopped, yeah?
So what's been reported, another train further ahead passed by it. It's on the tracks. It looks like it was damaged and it's inert. No signs of activity, no signs of survivors or anything like that. But there was also no miasmic crawling all over it, anything like that. They just kind of whistled past it and had enough of a look at it. You're the next train down the line as to whether you want to stop your 2 trains and take a look at it or not.
Afer is okay with checking it out under the presumption that if we catch the faintest whiff of danger, because we've already strained our resources with this attack we just fended off the civilians, that if we catch the faintest whiff of danger and there is no one really to save there, we get out ASAP.
Okay.
Because we still have an entire mission to fulfill.
Take a tentative
The
look.
quick people in?
Yeah, could send the quicker individuals in and leave some people on the train if you wanted to.
Works for me. I'd likely still have a warding bond on someone and stay within 60 feet. Since I'm not one of the faster ones, but the 60-foot head start, I think it should be fine.
So you guys want to investigate it in general?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. In which case, who are the people you're going to have look over it? Well, actually, first of all, those of you proficient in perception, give me a check as you're approaching it. 21 for 6 for me.
Wow.
This is question to you, Sam. I am strictly speaking proficient, but my attribute is -1. Does that
If
still
you're
count, or...
if you're proficient, then you can still make a roll. Yeah, I appreciate what you're saying though.
Can I trade that perception for an investigation?
So this is just the initial impression as you're approaching it. An investigation check could be made further down the line, Uther.
Gotcha.
Clara, from a distance as you're approaching it, you can see the several holes where what looks like blown in the side of it, like an explosive went off. There's some charring around the outside. Could be a spell like Fireball or something like that as well, but it's been blown inwards and the metal's like sheared from the force. Whatever hit it had some heft to it, basically. You can see from a distance as well There's still no signs of activity, there's no miasmic on it, and there's no one wandering around outside. Whatever hit this thing hit it hard and then just left it there, basically. But obviously at a distance you can't see what's going on inside at all. That's what you see as you guys are getting closer.
I have a question, but I rolled a 6 perception, so, are the blasts going inwards or coming outwards?
Clara would be able to see it was from the outside going in, so something punctured in from the outside inwards.
And there's no miasmic at all? Would that be strange?
You guys have exited the wastes at this point, so it's not strange, no. Obviously, it's strange in the sense that something else took down a train, but it's not like it's weird that there's no miasmic here. It's weird that a train got destroyed and there's no miasmic here.
Sam, I'm not sure if my armor keyword of tactical interface somehow allows me to play into this or not, but with how the train was attacked, does it look like a miasmic monster attack from everything I know, or does it look like
the one thing I'd
explosive
say is with your interface on the 16, you can't see claw marks on the outside of the train. It's not like it got chewed like by ravagers or anything like that. There's no obvious natural weapon signs on the outside of the train.
Okay. So those weren't normal miasmic monsters. These were either something we don't know about, because I assume if there's no claw marks and so on, I'm also not seeing anything that would remind me of another proboscis-like monster.
You can't quite see the
which
front.
also had claws.
Yeah, you can't see the front of the locomotive, but you also can't see scratches on the right side of the locomotive that you would see it from where you're on.
Check. So I'm not seeing claw marks anywhere, so I'm tempted to assume this might not have been miasmic monsters. Sky, how likely are trains being attacked by humanoid combatants, and how likely are they going to leave it booby-trapped?
It's not uncommon for trains to be attacked by opportunists or even members of militant groups that are anti-Empress City. Leaving it booby-trapped would be strange. They tend to be quick, try and grab what they can and leave. What I would say is this is the first time I've seen a train completely disabled by one of these attacks. Normally it's smash and grab. They get onto the train, fight as much as necessary to get what they want and leave. The train isn't often completely immobilized like this.
Let's try to put this into context. We already are somewhat aware, thanks to Axel's thing, that one thing, Sam, I am somewhat aware that Sky is informed of what Axel and our group has been working on.
Yeah, she would. She's as much a part of it as you guys are, really. As she and Axel are close enough for that.
What if this isn't a smashing... Like, this was a military train. It doesn't seem like a good target in general. What if it's not a normal smash and grab, but a well-planned out ambush by a defector faction or of some sort? We already know the Glowmite didn't work entirely on their own, and that they have enough weaponry to essentially perform a small revolution. That well armed doesn't seem impossible.
All the
have
more
some-
reason to stop the train and take a closer look. You could be right, or you could be seeing things because you're prepared to see them. Let's just slow the trains and get a closer look.
If that's the case, I don't want us to split up. I'll be coming with, even if I'm not as fast as a lot of our.
It's fine. We'll pull the other locomotive onto our track briefly. It'll attach to the back of the Naiad Dawn. That way we've got one way in, one way out like this, rather than spread our attention. The trains sort of merge. There's the feeling of them impacting into each other and docking. The train slows to a stop, and you guys jump out from your priority track side and start heading towards the wreckage of the train. It's a 3-carriage long train, quite short. The 2 carriages have the holes blown in one side of it, and it's from your point of view, so it's like from the right hand side. So as you're approaching it, it's right in front of you. There's no hole in the other side. The locomotive is mostly intact from the outside perspective. How do you guys want to approach this? Do you want to go into the locomotive or enter through the blown out holes in the side of the carriages?
Just from my point of reference, so we're still essentially moving onwards to the Gold Bell Caves, but while we are doing so, we have the other locomotive attached and then are investigating.
So you were escorting the train you rescued. That's merged onto your line. Now the trains have stopped, and you've gotten off to take a look at this train that's been abandoned on the second track.
Ah, okay. I thought we also attached that also to our train.
No. There's not 3 trains in tow at present. No.
Do any of us want to stay behind, or just do we all go investigate that big train? The short train, I mean.
Sky will say it'll be quicker if we all look at it together. Then we can be back sooner as well.
Well, you heard the lady. Let's get moving.
Okay. Clara, do you want to head to the carriages at the back that have been blown into, or head for the front of the train?
I'm gonna go through the carriages at the back, I think.
Okay. Entering in, you can see there were plenty of guards on this train, but all of them seem to have been killed by a single bullet wound. Very accurate shots, all of them shot in the chest, all of them down, pretty much in groups, almost like they were killed in clusters, in groups at once. And yeah, the outside of the train was blown through, like explosives cut through the metal, making a shape that allowed something to come in. It's the first sort of impression you get as you jump through the hole onto the train.
Oh, don't like that.
I would also go in, but I would, I guess, go more for the holes near the locomotive.
Yeah, you want to look at it from like the outside first, and then come in through the hole. Yeah. Is there anything in particular you're looking at, and the exploded inward hole? Like, are you examining that at all, or are you just more giving it a glance before heading in?
If I can, I'd be studying it to see if I can discern more what might have caused this hole. If I do some pattern recognition, are there any weaponry that I'm aware of that
give me an investigation check
doing this? Specifically with a focus on is there any glowmite weaponry that I'm aware of from like the boxes we've seen?
Yeah, go for it.
Investigation check.
Yeah.
Normal or at advantage, given...
with advantage, actually, because Sky is going to help you. That's where she's gone to first as well. 15?
15.
the two of you are able to work out together the hole that was blown in the side of the train was done with like a shaped powder charge. So there's still flecks of where some gunpowder got burnt and blown away. There's like little speckles of powder still remaining on the outside of the train, but it wasn't like a simple keg of gunpowder. This is someone who attached it to the outside of the train and very personally put like a perfect amount to create the openings that blew into the train itself. Definitely not miasmic, some sort of well-trained, either individual or group.
Okay, so we are dealing with well-trained, seasoned combatants here.
Seems like it.
I'd be very much on guard in case this is an ambush and looking around for signs of such a thing.
Okay. Anyone else looking at anything or heading anywhere in particular as part of the group?
I
Etira?
would like to enter through the back with Clara, stepping over the bodies. I am going to search for like the personal carriages, like where people stayed. Are there private cars or private compartments?
3 carriages. Give me an investigation check, moving through from back to front, just sweeping what kind of carriages you're looking at. So they all appear to be like either bunks for like military personnel, so like sets of 12, and then there's another layer ahead. So there's 2 carriages with 24 guards, 48 total, and a quick glance as you're looking around at here, you think all 48 of these peacekeepers are all led, this being their potentially final resting place as you're looking around at here. The 3rd carriage, just before the locomotive, usually reserved for like the most important carriage, because in an emergency the locomotives can detach everything but that one carriage and it's better protected just behind the locomotive, right? This is a cargo wagon. A lot of stuff has been taken from here, but not everything. Many of the storage containers in here are empty, but not all of them. Whoever did this was looking for specific things in the cargo, Atira.
She puts her hands on her hips, just sort of tries to think about this from her point of view. Is there any way I could look around for like a BOL? It's like a bill of materials,
like a manifest type thing, like a
yes.
what's here, yeah.
Where's the log books?
Is that what Uther you were gonna mention looking for? Was it or?
I was going to start from the engine and work my way back and probably look for any kind of documentation.
Okay, so Atira, sure. Having walked through the back of the train heading towards a locomotive, that's probably where the logbooks would be. Uther, since you're in there already, give me an investigation check in the locomotive.
Can I help him?
Yes, I'd say so. So Uther, you can have advantage, as Atira would step through and assist.
Ooh.
Uther, getting there before Atira, the first thing you notice is there is a message carved in the inner carriage of the locomotive. Like Mask of Zorro, like the Z, but it's a full sentence. Do you speak High Zemesian, Uther? I don't think you would, but I thought I'd ask.
Wait, hold on. I speak High Zemesian.
Of course you do.
So, Uther, you would see a message written, like carved into the locomotive wall, shorn into the metal, but it would be High Zemesian, so you wouldn't.
I'm going to like stick my head out of one of the holes in the train. Language check.
Roll call.
I have no idea what this is, and I'll like start copying it down regardless. But like I don't know what this is.
Caliban, if you wanted to look at the message, you certainly could.
Oh well. I first wanted to see what he transcribed. I'm thinking, wow, quite the transcription. He doesn't want to say. He doesn't want to say your handwriting is fluffy without being overt about it. But he is gonna start like translating it.
Taking a look at it, it's quite flowery, Caliban. It doesn't remind you of the historical documents written in High Zemestian. It's more like the old poems and things like that, the stories that were written about the archangels and things like that. But it's a simple phrase. It reads, "The paladins of the Empress will retake her city."
Well, that's certainly ominous.
Care to share with the rest of the class?
The paladins of the Empress will retake her city. It's not the full poem, but I guess it's just like, it's a line.
Yeah, it is a line from a poem. Give me a history check.
Yeah.
So there is a line from before Empress City really became what it is, when it was just like a refugee point where people were heading there. There's a line from a poem, but it doesn't actually talk about Empress City because that wasn't a thing yet. What it talks about is Zemes, the old capital of the Empire, and it's a statement that essentially it will be returned to the hands of the Zemesians, and the paladins of the Empress were kind of like the proto-Empress Knights, like the basis for the concept that was built upon before Empress Knights were a thing.
I see.
What happened?
Well, it's
Sam.
just pre-civilization, or at least pre-modern civilization.
Dafer.
We had some level of history lessons. Are there any groups that we have been taught of, or so like, have our lectures covered any social groups that this would fit into the profile of? In the 3 weeks we had, which I know is like zero time to actually learn this stuff.
The group that this adheres to the most, the idea of retaking the capital of Zemes, the people that funded and organized the Crusades, are people like Caliban's family, the Von Haligs, the noble families of Empress City are the ones that have always tried to retake it. This statement is mostly attributable to nobles.
And out of curiosity, sorry, what?
Would there have been a noble family that has left the city or didn't leave Zemes at any point?
A noble family that left the city or didn't leave Zemes. I mean, there are lots of noble families that didn't make it during the first Exodus. There are lots of noble families that died during the Crusades. And there are lots of families... Yeah, unfortunately, the answer is a lot. Many.
Not enough to get a clear answer for what I'm digging for.
Yeah.
And Sam, out of curiosity, for this dream of retaking Zemes, for like me as a normal person, looking at this very directly, pragmatically, to me this seems like a very absolutely wasteful and stupid pipe dream, because it seems like it would cost a lot of lives, be very dangerous for like honor, which you can't eat and doesn't really save you from anything. That would be an accurate assessment?
It's an assessment that many people adhere to, but it's not 100% true. There are benefits to taking Zemes. There are many artifacts that weren't able to be rescued from the city. The city itself is a trove of magical items, essentially. If it were to be retaken, it would be the reclamation of a lot of magical firepower, if you will, and other beneficial objects as well. I mean, a lot of the noble families have their status built on a single one of these objects. Retaking the city would be retaking that. But a lot of people would fire back with, that's not really the point of what they're trying to do. It is about retaking just a symbol more than anything. So it's a little bit of A, a little bit of B.
Like, I'm tackling this mostly from the noble versus commoner dynamic.
I think so,
with
yeah. I think from
typically-
Dayfir's point of view, it would be fanciful at the nicest of statements.
Yeah. Because it's the entire dynamic of you want to have your dream, but it's my blood that pays for it, and I'm not enthused.
That's fair, especially with the way the Crusades went in the past.
Yeah. Okay.
But checking for a manifesto as well, as you were looking around beyond the message that's there, you don't see anything. If you would think, Uther, whoever did this probably took it too.
Well, no luck so far. Anyone else find anything?
Sorry, Uther, your mic's a little bit muffled, but I think you said, did anyone else find anything? I'm Clara.
Yeah, sorry.
It's okay. In the back carriages, was there anything else you wanted to look at with the bodies sort of strewn around?
I suppose I'll have a look at, like, we can see the damage whatever came in did to the outside, but what's the damage like that it did on the inside?
Yeah, give me either investigation or perception. I think either is fine.
Perception's better.
Looking around, the damage to the inside is minimal, Clara. Whoever did this took, like, they were precise, they were quick. You don't think it lasted very long, like in terms of rounds of combat, maybe 2 or 3 to clear these 2 carriages. But you can see signs that it wasn't one person acting alone, probably like a group of 5, 6, somewhere around there, just from how bodies are distributed and like just looking at how quickly this was done. What I would say you would notice is a few of the bodies are injured in a different way. So most of them were shot. Some of them were hit with some kind of impaling weapon, kind of like a needle-like weapon, but a little bit bigger, like a rapier.
Is there any distinguishing pattern to which ones seem injured in which manner?
Yeah, you would notice that the ones that are closest to the locomotive looks like they were impaled with this more melee weapon.
Interesting. I feel like this is going to raise a lot of questions, but I don't think I can comment on many of them, because all of the things I'm thinking, I would need to have an idea about, like, where this train was coming from and what it was supposed to do, and I don't have access to that information off the top of my head.
Is there anything more you guys want to look through now that you're here?
If I had to judge the level of fighters we're up against, this seems very much above the pay grade. Like, even with a very decent ambush setup and everything, the vibe I'm getting, like, from the information that I assume Clara shared with us to everything else, this seems like that wasn't just sticks, it's so
It wasn't just 6 and then, sorry, it cut out. Or maybe it cut out only for me.
No, I think
Okay.
I also just...
I heard it cut out.
I'm not alone in the void. I'm never sure, you know, when someone cuts out. I'm like,
Yeah.
is it me or is it them? I think...
No, that was very blatantly ISO.
So, Sky, looking through all of this, would know a few.
There we go.
Oh, sorry.
I'm back.
It wasn't just 6, and then you cut out there. So what was after? Wasn't just 6.
It wasn't just 6, even with a very decent ambush set up, like elite soldiers or elite peacekeepers that could have pulled this off. These were 5 to 6 people, with at least some of them fighting on the level of Empress Knights. Would that assessment be correct?
So Sky will say a few of these peacekeepers got shots off. Their weapons have been discharged. She lifts up one and shows that it's empty, but all the blood is theirs. I don't see a bullet hole in the walls, so they didn't miss. So whatever they shot, it deflected off a barrier like a shell. Whether they were Empress Knights or not, they were certainly using shells.
Shells proper or something shell adjacent like what we've encountered previously?
It would be strange to use a quick fire on someone so skilled. The way they entered, the accuracy. No, I think it would be shells proper. It could be a quick fire, but it would be a waste of someone so talented.
The thing that worries me the most is, even if we 6 did this, we wouldn't have done it this surgically.
Sky looks around, says, no, these people are more than in training. They're certainly well trained.
So, yeah, that I feel like was more along the lines of a full group of fully trained Empress Knights, somewhere near that level maybe.
Is the train systems online? Has anyone tried turning it on?
Nope, I don't think so.
We can try, and I'll walk over and see if I can figure out how to start this thing.
Yeah, it takes you a little bit to look through everything, but give me an Arcana check.
1 second, I was responding to someone's stupid
So
question. I had a little bit too much fate knowledge for someone's liking, so they're wanting to know how I know what I know. Google.
18. It doesn't turn on. Even pulling and pushing all the right things, basically, Uther, you can't get it to start. Leaning through over the console, taking a look at it, it was destroyed. So someone has very deliberately targeted a very specific element of the train. Small but vital. It's been knocked out permanently.
Would this have been spirit-powered, or was this a different kind of
This is a
power?
crystal train. They've taken the crystal powder, so they've taken the power source that allows it to move, but they've also gone one further and just completely sabotaged the engine as well, Uther.
They stole the crystal and blew the engine. So it'll have to be dragged out of here.
Sky nods and says, we'll push it off the tracks for now. After that, someone else will have to come along and remove it permanently. We can't leave it here, otherwise something else is going to have to run into it or use a diversionary track. But we'll get it off the tracks and then we'll move on. I don't think there's anything else we can learn here without the manifest.
Why not?
Using the Naiad's Dawn and your other train, using some of the mechanisms to lift the track, you're able to basically, with the engineers' help, get the train to essentially tip off of the tracks and then slide down one of the embankments to clear it, essentially. Another team will have to come and cut it apart and sort of salvage it, but you have investigated.
Would there have been anything useful left on the train that we could scavenge, or was it just picked clean?
So the military supplies that are left on it are essentially elemental rounds, so there are some fire ammunition essentially for anyone that's using a gun type weapon that you can load into them instead. So yeah, if you want to take essentially
Would that work in the gun that I had been given by accident?
Yep, yeah, it would work in that. That would work fine.
Yep, I'm stealing some ammo.
And if people want to take some of the ammo, because like it's basically like crystal powder in the bullets, and then the bullets themselves are carved in a way that will cause them to ignite on contact. So if you want to take some of the bullets for just the powder inside, or for any other purpose, you can take a, you know, like a clip of it, or wherever you want to describe it. If you want to salvage some of it, you can.
So essentially, Uther just grabs what he can find.
Mm-hmm. And anyone else that fancies it as well.
Can I use the energy within elemental rounds to feed rooms that I make?
So the crystal powder inside can be used to recreate cantrip spells, essentially. So you can use it for some minor effects. If you were to open up the bullets, empty out the powder, and keep it, you could use it to cast minor illusion, things like that.
Okay.
Snort a line of prestidigitation.
Okay, so I can't. I think in that case my interest would be limited.
Okay.
It's not rune stuff.
No.
I want to say as a player, when I was considering 3rd level spells, man, I should have taken Speak with Dead.
Oh, that would have been good. Talking to one of these guards would have been really
Could
good.
have gotten all the lore.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. That would have been nice. Another time might still come in useful someday.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
Could have even been helpful
Dead,
with
like,
Vespa.
Speak with Dead works best for Atira's, like, the whole aesthetic.
Well, Atira does have summon undead as well, so there's this. We're still on the aesthetic. It's just a slightly different vibe still. Yeah.
Sadly, summon undead can't be used to like reanimate one of the corpse and be like, do something that gives us information that your brain in that corpse still knows.
Yeah.
You know, the crystal is cut so that it can't resurrect a corpse. It can resurrect a skeleton, and it can bring back a unfulfilled spirit.
Yeah, you could, if one of these guards feels unfulfilled by the way they died, which is quite likely, you could resurrect the spirit, but it would be in a combat. Like, it wouldn't be for information, it would fight for you, it wouldn't be able to talk, particularly, unfortunately. But yeah, once you guys have cleared it, salvaged what you want from the wreckage, get back in the train and continue on your way. We'll leave this session off with you guys approaching, in the distance you can begin to see the raised plateau mountain, the Calderas ahead of you, but I'll leave a proper description for the start of next session. But I think we'll call it that.
Oh yeah.
Close the stream down. See you next week.